Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode. I am Michael Petrow, and joining me on the show this week, well, you've got me, so fuck, right? But we've also got Charles Fernandes, all right? And Charles Fernandes brought along a friend. Here's some backstory for you. Emily Clarke is a brand new cast member. We met a lovely lady named Tiffany at Comic-Con, and Tiffany gave us some critiques, some pointers, and we listened because she said, you need a female on the show. So we found one. Charles found her, actually. They've been friends since they go all the way back to grade 7. She moderated for us at our Comic-Con panels. That's the lady that you see in the background keeping us in check and throwing out some wisecracks here and there. So she's now on the show. This is her first episode, so be kind to her, ladies and gentlemen. You never hit us in the comments, which you should, because we'd love to hear from you, as Tiffany did. She came up to us and said it to our faces. She's got balls, you guys. Tiffany's got balls. None of you do. No, I'm just kidding. We love you all. So Charles, me, and Emily are in studio this week. This is a special features. We go all over the map. We have no direction. We just let it flow. So topics that were discussed but are not limited to. With Britney Spears being freed now, what biopic would you like to see of somebody who's gone through all the Hollywood bullshit and come out the other end? Who would you like to see on screen? Emily's got a great fucking pick for that one. What are we also talking about? We're talking about fake guns versus real guns. That's still in the news. It's still such a fucking shame. So I decided, hey, let's find out what we think here. And we're a 3-way split. It was pretty interesting, but we all get along because it's movies and not anything else. Bullshit, real life, whatever. We also talk about what celebrity, what character we would like to crash our wedding. Should me and Sean ever decide to get hitched in that case. Plus lots of other stuff too. Charles tells you what he's playing this week. Fills you in on the video game shit. We had a great time. Thank you, Emily, for saying yes to our little experiment here. We very much appreciate it. I know Tiffany does too. And what other females out there who've listened to the show in the past, we're sorry. We're just a bunch of nerds, and we all have significant others, so we didn't know how to reach out to and not be creepy. So, Emily, thank you for not thinking I'm creepy either. That's great, too. I'm going to shut up because this is the point where I hang myself. That's who's on the show. That's what's on the show for you. Items of note, housekeeping bullshit. Let's see here. What do we got? Oh, we have a TikTok page if you guys didn't know. We update it once or twice a week. Dumb shit, new clips, what have you. So at The Real Debaters on TikTok is our TikTok page. If you want to support the show after you're done, because this is your first time listening and you're like, hey, these guys are funny, I like them, I'm going to subscribe to them, which you should do no matter what. But if you want to support the show, check out the show notes. We have a merch tab. And we also have a donation tab there. The donation rewind that. The donation tab is minimal. It's pocket change, guys. So if you like what you hear and you want to throw a buck at us, that will actually get you something. We'll say your name on the show. More than that, we'll talk about you on the show. You can give us a list of the things, and we'll chew apart a friend of yours or whatnot. But there are things for your donations, and as well, our threadless site. It's got tons of great shit there. We've got 3 different logos, a bunch of different shit you can put those logos on. These are just ways to support the show. I know I've said it before about, 75 fucking times. That website, it's almost done. We're just playing around right now with what's the easiest way to give you everything, and might be going down a different avenue. We're waiting to see what our home streaming service, Captivate, which is the shit, has coming down the pipe. So we may stay there. We've got stuff working. So if you really want to get to know us a little bit more, that'll be just another level of Real Debaters bullshit for you to enjoy. Subscribe. It's the main thing I can say. Please do so. It's free. You don't have to do anything for subscriptions. You can just subscribe to the show, and we would love it. It makes us happy. And the reason it makes us happy is because we get to see where you guys are from. So on to the top 10. We love to celebrate the 10 places that do heavy lifting for the Real Debaters. We like to shout your name out to the moon, the stars, the sun, whoever's listening. I'm sure that they aren't. But the point is that these are the 10 places that spread our good word. Around the water cooler, around the office, around the dinner table. I would hope you wouldn't talk about this around the dinner table. All right, number 10, Ashburn, Virginia, longtime friend. Nice to see you again. Penticton, British Columbia, Vancouver, British Columbia. Our hearts go out to you. Vancouver is where Martin lives, but we've seen on the news recently, man, it fucking sucks out there. So sorry your highways are disappearing right out from underneath you. Kelowna, British Columbia, Mississauga, Ontario, Toronto, Ontario, Smithers, British Columbia, Calgary, Alberta, rounding out the top 8. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, coming in number 2, making Winnipeg number 1 still. But, man, they are on your heels, Winnipeg. Thank you to whoever's listening to us in the City of Brotherly Love. We love it. It's awesome. Good on you. We appreciate it. We love everybody that listens to the show. But the point is that, like I said, these are just the 10 places that make our day a little bit more bright. I got nothing else for you, I'm sure. Skip, which is fine. You want to listen to the rest of it. This is all boring stuff. I will cue the reel, and we hope you enjoy the show.
Let's tidy up this tangle of film by putting it on a reel. Here is a motion picture film, 1,000 feet, 16,000 separate photographs.
Welcome, everyone, to the official space section of the chart.
The truth! You can't handle the truth!
Sir, you're out of order.
Out of order? I show you out of order!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Real Debaters production. I am Michael Petrow.
I'm Charles Fernandes.
And I'm Emily Clarke.
Before we even continue, this is our first episode back from Comic-Con, and Emily, a little backstory on her. I said to Charles, I said, we need somebody to introduce us, because if we go to Comic-Con and try to do this, and I try to do like 17 things at once, it's going to fucking fail. And Charles was like, I know this girl, Emily. And I was like, I don't care who she is. She gets the job. And we talked, and Emily is the lovely lady you see introducing us at the panel on Charles's channel in Nerdgasm if you've watched it. And if you've listened to it, it's the female voice in the background that's like announcing us and giving us shit and making really funny jokes in the background, like "Stop roaming off track, boys." I will not forget that. That's easily like I heard that. If nobody else heard that, I heard that and was like, "Well, fucking played."
I was hoping that would really come through later on.
Yeah, no, it's going to live in infamy from now on as long as the internet exists. But anyways, when we were at Comic-Con, we met a fan. Her name is Tiffany. So shout out to Tiffany.
Hi, Tiffany.
Hi, Tiffany. It was a pleasure to meet you. And you looked me square in the face and you said that we were a sausage fest. And I very much appreciated that, because we've said for 100 some odd episodes, tell us how you feel about the show if you meet us. And well, okay. That was the first thing.
Sorry, hold on. Did I do something? I'm so sorry.
No, you didn't do anything at all.
Okay, good. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I hit the
We've
keyboard.
done it now.
Yeah,
I
you've
hit
done
the
it now.
keyboard and I didn't know.
Yeah, way to let everybody know
I didn't
you're
want
trying
us
to
to
do
record
production.
for hours, then you're like, it stopped.
No, dude, I have fail safe.
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. And whatever.
Sorry, gang.
Anyway, so Tiffany said that we were a sausage fest and we needed more of the female perspective, which I couldn't have agreed with you more, Tiffany. So Emily, you're our new fucking spot. And you're like Charles said before, you've checked the box.
You've got it. Female perspective.
That's not why we have you here.
Minimum requirements met. You're welcome.
Yeah, no, I said before, I was like, this is not what I wanted this to turn into. And now it's fucking turning into that at my own behest. The point is that we heard you, Tiffany, and we knew it all along. We just hadn't found the right geek queen yet, which we now have. So, Emily, thank you so much for saying yes to come on the show.
I'm so excited to be here. Any opportunity to talk, and then, of course, to talk about nerd stuff, that's just the best thing I could ever imagine.
Fuck, music to my ears, Charles.
Right?
You did good.
Tell me about it.
You know good people. So.
Oh, I know.
Salt of the earth. Cut from good cloth.
Hey,
how many more of these can I come up with?
Emily was the first. She's honestly the reason why, like, the Nerdgasm advertisement, if you will, or promo has been the way that it is. She was the first model I ever worked with.
Yeah, you know what? Because I did, when I met you, I was like, okay, I should probably do Apple research on this guy. And I went back and like, you are the first.
Yeah,
did some research.
Model.
Saw Emily's boobs.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like, check. It's just boobs. It's all we were looking for.
Seriously, though,
No, just kidding.
We all also have known each other since junior high, since grade 7.
Oh,
literally.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys go way back.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I'm super glad you're here, and I wanna take you to where we go each week, which is fake life, which is fun life, which is on the screen. So without further ado, let's get into this is a special features, because we're all over the map today, ladies and gentlemen. We were like,
we're just
is this a real talk? Is this special?
The
features?
world is our apple today.
Yeah,
so.
exactly, and we're gonna bite from every side of that
That's
apple,
right.
however that
We're
metaphor fucking works. So we're gonna have a little video game stuff. We're gonna have a little movie stuff, some TV stuff, some dumb stuff that you can always expect from us. So without further ado, we will kick right into it. We're gonna start with Emily this week because she's the special guest.
I think that's a great idea.
So we like to ask everybody what the fuck they watched each week, so that we either get suggestions from each other or pass along suggestions to the listener out there in the world. And we hope we do that with enough flair and pizzazz. So what the hell did you watch this week, Emily?
Well, I watched a couple things this week, one that I'm proud of and one that I'm not so proud of. The one that I'm proud of, I've caught up on the most recent season of Sex Education on Netflix.
Oh.
And if you haven't had the opportunity to check out Sex Education, not only is it a hilarious show, but Gillian Anderson is in it. And of course, she's a babe. Remains a babe to this day. Like, as if...
It's fucking Scully.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Sully.
she's
As
the
if growing
best.
up with X-Files wasn't enough to like, make you think.
I never got hard watching her chase aliens, but
What's-
that's not to say nobody else did.
Might be the
I
first.
do now.
The first time I might have like really questioned my sexuality. It was like probably then, and it's been not a question ever since. I know exactly
Oh,
that.
man.
I know that Gillian Anderson's babe. So she plays the mother in this show, and she's super straightforward, really interesting, and as always really hot. So
Yeah.
the show is great.
What's the premise of the show? I've heard about it, but I don't know much about it.
Hugo.
The premise of the show is it's kids in high school, and it's of course supercharged sexually. And the main character Otis is the son of a sex therapist, and he takes that to school with him and starts like a sex therapy business at school. So charging his peers money to help them with their sex problems.
That's hilarious.
Isn't that prostitution?
No, not to charge them for sex, just to help them with
He's
their
giving just
problems
tips.
around sex.
Hey,
advice.
Tips and tricks?
I'm sure a prostitute's been paid to help somebody put a condom on a banana before.
absolutely.
Or whatever fruit you use.
So,
these days.
but it gets into all sorts of really interesting things, and so lots of it is funny and light, but other parts of it are more complicated and gets into gender identity and sexual identity and
Nice.
and things like that. So not only is it deep and interesting, but it's also really funny. And as someone with kids at home, it's hard for me to find time to watch it because it is not kid friendly in any capacity.
Yeah. Eh?
No spoilers too much, but the first maybe 2 minutes of the first episode of season 3 is just a full out sex montage. Just a whole bunch of different sex in a whole bunch of different
They're
positions.
awakening.
Whole bunch of different people. And it's
Holy
That's
fuck.
great.
it only gets better from there. So
It's like a
that's,
big mouth.
Yeah,
So it starts off as a porn.
yeah, straight up, absolutely. And
Is it Pornhub, honey, or is it
But it's really,
Netflix?
I haven't watched it yet, but I saw the cast. And like I said, Hugo, because I recognize that kid right away.
yeah,
And I mean, Scully, like, my God, she is the best.
yeah, blonde
So-
now too.
She's so hot.
Yeah, tons of pantsuits.
Oh,
10 out of
great.
10.
Oh,
I
great.
have such a thing
Is she in
for
the Queen? I heard
pantsuits.
she was in the Queen too, or something.
The Crown.
The Crown.
Crown.
Yeah,
Sorry,
she
The
plays,
Crown, that's right.
Margaret Thatcher.
Oh my God,
Margaret
She's-
Thatcher.
she's probably so good.
She has such a range. It's unbelievable.
I would love to just
While
see her in
she
that role.
played Hannibal's therapist.
That was one of my all-time favorites.
on Hannibal.
Oh my God, and her whole character in that. Oh, it was so good.
Well, there's talk that Netflix is strongly considering bringing back. 'Cause
Yeah,
they,
and,
they rushed the last season of it.
It's still.
Just
I
to
thought the
end
last season was still really good.
Oh, yeah.
it ended on such an
It
insane
just could
note.
have tied in a lot more Red Dragon,
But
and a lot more
Brian
Manhunter
Fuller
and-
said he has a season 4 ready, and it is written in a way where a lot of time has passed. And I love that
Oh.
idea.
Ooh, so
Because I
off
guess
script of
the
Hannibal.
idea is Silence of the Lambs could happen at any time in Hannibal Lecter's life. It doesn't necessarily need to happen the way we saw it in the movie. So he could be older,
Yeah,
and then he's caught.
I wouldn't
or lets
mind
himself
watching
be caught.
like a geriatric Hannibal.
Totally.
But here's the thing: he has to puree human meat because he can't. He's got
Yeah,
his teeth.
yeah, yeah.
He's,
Oh my
he's not
God.
vegan. He's just blended,
Yeah, that's right.
right? Like he's still getting whatever. But
It's on
okay,
that smoothie diet.
so Sex Education is on Netflix, right?
Yeah, Sex Education's on Netflix.
Is it its first season?
This is season 3.
Whoa,
Yeah.
Okay,
he's doing well.
so there's lots of fucking.
Lots of fucking. Yeah.
Is like because I watched 13 Reasons Why and was
Oh.
depressed for like 2 weeks after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And fucking kids are horrible.
Very different vibe.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. I also
Good.
watched Euphoria.
Mm-hmm.
And
That scared me
with
too.
Zendaya. That one was also like, man,
Scared me.
if
Kids
I
are
was a kid
fucked.
today, oh my, I'm sorry, I'd be so fucked up.
I'd say this one's more lighthearted.
Okay,
Yeah.
Good.
More
With that-
lighthearted with some difficult subjects thrown in.
so does it use comedy to talk about LGBTQ?
Absolutely.
Does it use comedy to talk about like wet dreams and
Yep.
all of those
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
things that I still have?
Definitely comedy based. Got a little bit of shock value to it, but in an uplifting, positive way.
Okay,
I
all
love
right,
it.
yeah, because I don't think Netflix needs to make another show about kids doing anything other than learning how to put the condom on instead of. I don't know where I'm going with this. How many hard-ons out of 10 would you give it?
You know what? I think
Premature ejaculations. I want to go back to what's more relevant. This is 16-year-old kids.
True.
Hard-ons don't
How
last.
many disappointments?
How many prom night disappointments?
prom
do
night
you-
disappointments. I give it 8.5 prom night disappointments. out of 10.
Nice.
Ooh.
It's one of the most enjoyable television shows I've watched in the last few years. I was really excited to see it come out, and really excited to get.
And
to
what
it.
I like
I love
is
that feeling.
There's a lot of young talent that are kind of nobodies. Like they're becoming names.
Yeah,
from
I looked
these
at the list.
shows,
There's nobody.
and I'm loving it. Other than Hugo, Really, I don't know any of these other kids in it. So
There's one of
I
those
like
actors that looks exactly like Margot Robbie. I don't know her name, but she there's 4 of them
Yeah.
that are all like a dead ringer. For each
Yeah,
other,
yeah.
Jamie,
Yeah.
would you look it up on the internet? Oh, sure, no problem.
Looking now.
Emma Mackey,
That could be it.
Maeve Wiley is the
Yeah,
girl who
Maeve
plays
Wiley,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
she's got that Roby mouth.
Yeah.
I don't mean that in the wrong way. I just mean that like how her like
She's
her
got that
jaw-
mouth.
Yeah, she's got that fucking mouth.
Yeah.
No, I don't mean that in like the Donald Trump way.
Sex education.
But yeah, no, this looks
That's
like
great.
yeah. I like a thing that you don't know anybody on because then you're not holding them to like account from something else, right?
Yeah, and it's
Like-
nice to see them take a really famous actor and not put them in the main character role. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
really exciting as well. The kid, for lack of a better, they're not children in real life, but the children really shine in this show.
Yeah.
Or like, could they not afford Gillian Anderson at full rate? So they were like, "We'll just make you supporting cast because
Maybe.
this is all we can afford." And she's like, "I'll make the money."
Yeah.
Well, it is nice to see that there is like they're finding some good, talented kids, man. Because I'm not gonna lie, there was a period there where
All of them were on Karate Kid, and it fucking is horrendous.
yeah, dude,
The child
I
acting
gave
on-
up, man. I gave up, and when I found out they started bringing back what's her face, Elizabeth Shue, and other characters, I was like, "Hey, I'll get back into it." But those they are terrible.
They're
They're
horrible.
not even kids.
No,
they're like borderline adults, man.
there's children who act,
Take
and then
fucking
there's
lessons.
There's children who act, and then there's child actors. Those are child actors.
Oh,
they're
they're
childlike
terrible.
in their acting.
They're terrible.
Where you can be 9. When we talked to Paisley from Bob Odenkirk. The movie that
Nobody, Mr.
Thank you,
Nobody.
Mr. Nobody. Mr. Nobody's with Jared Leto.
Oh, gross.
I get a point for that. But when we talked to her, she was 9, and she's just as good as any
Wow.
like 50-year-old, right?
Yeah.
But she's a child.
Yeah.
That's the difference between a child learning how to act and
Yeah,
a child
yeah.
fucking actor. Where
Right.
It's like smile and look fucking dumb and fight in Daniel LaRusso's living
Dude, and
room.
it's brutal because so many of the episodes are just on the kids, and I'm like,
I can't.
ah.
I can't go back as much as I want to because they're bringing in Reese's old. Like they're doing Karate Kid 3.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah. I
So,
saw the
like-
trailer, and I was like, whoa.
I just want to go back because I need to see it through. Like it's a bad relationship. You need to
Right.
break up so that
Am I
it's
not
broken
crazy?
up.
Did they not do a Karate Kid with Hilary Swank? Was
They
that
did.
not Karate Kid 3?
Yeah, and they also did it with Jaden Smith too.
That one didn't make
It's
sense.
ridiculous.
That's because it's kung fu. Sorry.
If memory serves, you said you watched the thing you liked and a thing that you were disappointed or embarrassed by. What was the other thing?
Well, so I have a deep dark secret, and that's my love of reality television.
Oh,
and
so I'm in a reality television host.
Yes.
too.
Yeah, so that's been around for a long time. So, of course, Survivor is on, and so I'm
Whoa.
very, very excited about that. But
I
also,
don't get hard for 16-year-old sex education,
Survivor
but
definitely.
Survivor gives me a chub.
Yeah, Survivor's definitely. So I watch Survivor, and of course, I can't ever go a week in my life without keeping up with Bachelor Nation. So I'm watching the love story
There's
of
the door right
of
there.
the one and only
This
Micheal right
is
now.
mine.
And so, yeah, those are the things that I try not to talk about them because they undermine my street cred. But
Okay. I guess this is what happens. Okay, fine. I will ask. I like watching The Bachelor, but I'm not allowed to watch The Bachelor. Like it makes Shauna want to murder me. So like, what's Bachelor Nation? Oh, I don't want to.
What's Bachelor Nation?
This whole show's gonna turn into The Bachelor now because I'm just
Oh
gonna act.
goodness! So there's the Bachelor, there's the Bachelorette, and then there's Bachelor in Paradise. And if you've been watching
Seen
this
that one.
series for a long time, there used to be one called Bachelor Pad. There was Bachelor,
That just sounds bad.
Bachelor Winter Games. There's been a whole series of Bachelor and Bachelor related shows, and so Bachelor Nation is just the pet term for the group of people who watch all of them, regardless of how bad they are or how many they make.
It's like a Bachelor universe.
Yeah, it's like the MCU, except instead of Iron Man, we've got Chris Harrison. Although I guess not anymore. 'Cause
Oh,
he got
right.
fired.
He got fired.
Yeah.
Oh,
right?
that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
'cause
Was
he wasn't-
Bachelor Pad the one? Wasn't there one where a woman borderline got assaulted? There was something of like the cameras.
Oh, I'm
Where
certain.
she was drunk or something, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that was Bachelor in Paradise.
That was Bachelor
and then they had to
Paradise,
stop
okay.
filming. That was 2 seasons
That's
ago.
right.
Bachelor
That's
in
right.
Paradise, yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry. The only difference between Folkfest Campsite and The Bachelor is a budget. Either way, everybody's going to get drunk, fucked up, and try to hook up with each other, and it's never
And
going to end
a
well
lot
when
of
you
bad
record it.
decisions.
As
A lot
many,
of bad
as many
decisions.
people as possible. Yeah.
I
Bachelor Nation.
like
That's
watching. I
amazing.
like watching the dudes. Like when I watch, I don't like watching the women. I get creeped out by watching a bunch of women audition for
A man's
man.
attention.
That's
True.
just weird. But like watching a bunch of idiots just go cutthroat for a piece of ass is so funny.
So the funniest thing I've ever seen, and Emily, I have no idea what I'm talking about. I've just seen the clip. But something went down where this guy either got caught in a trap or he fucked up and he hopped over the estate fence to get out of there.
That was Colton's season.
That's what it was.
It was. I remember that. It was very dramatic. He got dumped by the good girl. It was his season, and the girl he wanted to be with said no, she didn't want to be with him. So he jumped over a fence and ran away.
And he ran.
Completely unrelated. Turns out later, Colton's actually
He's gay. He's gay. That's right. He came out like
came out
within
later,
the last year or something.
Yeah.
But dude, the clip is so good. It's like Cops. Like you would have thought this guy was like, "Hey, you have coke and the cops are on the way," because he just looks and he's like,
I want to find
and he
that
just
video and
scales
put that track
dude.
behind
It's
it.
incredible.
And he's a big guy. Like he was a football player, and so he was really he was strong. It was like not a small fence. Like you would have had to like throw me over your shoulders to like heave me over this thing, and he just hopped over it like it was nothing.
He
and fucked
ran
off.
faster in that clip than I bet you he ever did in his football career ever.
Yeah.
Who did he play for?
Like, I don't know.
It's random.
But he ran for the Bachelor.
That coach is like, I could never get him to run that.
Yeah.
100%.
So that's what happened when she said no.
Yeah, but like they ended up dating for a while. Her name's Cassie. They ended up dating for a while after the show, and then they broke up, obviously, because he's gay. Yeah,
that's right.
Okay,
that's right.
so tonight, right
funny.
now, actually, Survivor's airing.
Survivor's on. I know I'm gonna watch it when I get home.
And it's been the same host, right, since the very
Jeff
first one?
Probst.
Oh, you mean
Wow.
you mean like the mad doctor Jeff Probst
Oh my
who
God.
enjoys.
My God.
I will talk about Survivor. I will give Survivor 10 minutes any day of the fucking week.
What have I started?
So 9 minutes and 59 seconds and counting. I honestly think, and never had another Survivor person in the room, so this is fun. I think it's a science experiment. When they picked their own island and stopped renting islands from like Fiji and South
they
America,
can set it up however they want.
when they
right?
built a factory,
They built a Survivor island?
yeah, they have an island off the coast of Fiji that's theirs.
What?
So they just go there to do it now.
They can do whatever they want
So
there.
before, it was like under the guise of, we'll just play this game around the world,
Wow.
which is still a game. But then when you're like, we built a facility. Every time I've seen a comic book movie and a facility was in it, somebody had adamantium put inside them. Things don't end well.
Yeah.
So this is a Survivor.
It's Weapon X.
It's Weapon X. It's Survivor Island. So I now think that this is the catalyst to real life Westworld. Like, I think all the information they're getting from the show, they're feeding into some super AI computer, and they're like, how do we curb society to do our bidding?
Well, eventually, they just drop them off on the boat and fuck off for real.
Yeah.
And, like, they just have drone cameras, and it's like, good luck, you have everything you need. We've proven it with science.
Yeah, no, we've got 40 seasons of shit now.
Yeah, so we know you can survive.
And
Get
I
it.
feel like at this point, from what you're telling me, now that they have their own island, the last season ever, if there will be, is just going to sure be Squid Games. And everyone at home just text, "Win in, mate, would you like to win?" and pen on. And you just text it in.
And like after the first 3 minutes, you're like, if you want to watch anything more, $59.99.
yeah.
Pay-per-view.
Yeah, it'll be like Death Race, but
Totally.
oh my God.
So
that
the
would
first
be-
episode's free.
Yeah.
And then after that, when they get you hooked on gambling, then you're paying for it.
And then you're betting on who's going to stay.
It's basically
Oh my
just Hunger
God.
Games, but with adults.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Hunger Games, Squid Games, and the one with Ice-T. What was that one?
Ice-T.
When he's running through the mountains and rich people are trying to kill him. The most dangerous game. Dangerous Game.
Oh, yeah.
That was. Yeah.
That's the OG, like, classic
That's the original.
story.
That's the Rudiger Hauer one.
Yeah,
That's how far
yeah.
that goes back.
What is it, what is it, Deadliest Game? Man's Deadliest Game or something like that?
Yeah, that's what it's based off a short story.
Yeah.
Who do you think's gonna win?
Richard.
Boston Rob.
Boston Rob could walk in halfway through a season, not know anybody, not have any history with anyone, and still fucking win.
Yeah, if they can, if she can pull it back, Shan, I think has a good chance. But
is Shan the blonde that hasn't spoke?
No, Shan she was working really closely with Ricardo. And,
you're talking about the pastor.
Yes, the pastor. Yeah,
I don't like her.
But if she can just keep it together, she was playing a really strong game. She started to go off the rails a little bit, but I think she's good at manipulating people. So.
Charles, sorry, just go to the bathroom right now. So like with Shan though, this like when she lost her shit with Ricard and was like, give me back my
the idol.
I was like, this is the worst because he's going to remember that you have a breaking point.
Right before the merge, too. So that was really silly because, if anything, going into the merge, you should be leaning into the strength of your relationship because he's going to have a whole bunch of other options. But
unless it's season 41 where they're like, just because you've merged doesn't mean you get to fucking stick around.
Yeah.
They've done this thing.
It's
So,
crazy.
when was the last season you watched?
Oh, dude, I think I
Richard,
saw...
it was what you dropped first.
Yeah,
So I'm going to
I
go
think
with
first
one.
3 seasons I watched.
Okay, all right. So you watched the fire happen in Africa. You watched Richard Hatch walk around naked for the first season.
Yeah, I remember that was the most controversial thing in the world at that time. Was this man
Yeah.
was naked on a beach and gay.
Yeah, and then a guy
I didn't
ran
even
for
know what gay was, but I knew he was gay.
So if that was the biggest thing then, and now we voted, America voted in a guy who said, grab him by the pussy.
Not even that.
Like, how?
I looked at
that's
Claudia.
20 years ago.
We what was it? Music video. Madonna. What is it? Like a prayer or whatever. That one, because there's this black gorgeous man and he's supposed to be Jesus. And my parents were like, that was so controversial at the time. Madonna got in so much trouble. And I went, Mom, WAP.
Yeah. yeah.
That's where we're at now, Mom.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't
Did you
like
show her that?
That's why no, but I just like describe. My mom knows, like she read about it, but she refuses to watch it. I'm never gonna show her that.
Oh,
that's something she needs to discover on her
Trap
own.
your mom in a
But
room.
literally, I just said, I was like, Mom, look at how far we've come. My mom was just like, no.
Okay. For the sake of time and
Sorry.
and- no. I got a couple more Survivor questions.
Oh, please, yes. This is fascinating to me.
So, all right. So you think I think Nasir.
Nasir seems to have rubbed a few people the wrong way. So, but the same thing, if he can hold on and just play under the radar for the next little bit, some of the other big target guys might take each other out. And he might get
and he like when he wouldn't throw a challenge, I think people realized how valuable he was.
I hope so.
Like you can utilize that to go pretty far with somebody who's not willing to tank out. Like that said more about his character than anything that he can do to play the game.
Also, if he can get to the end, that's a really good thing that he can use for like the outlast outplay because he can say, my team wanted me to throw this and I absolutely was not willing to do it. So.
Not even that. My team was trying to throw it and I found out after and was like, I wasn't throwing it. If you go back and look at the footage.
Like the only reason we won was because I dug in so deep. Yeah.
Anyways, this merge thing they did, Charles, they've never done this before. So when you merge. You can either be like 2 teams, 3 teams, sometimes 4 teams. Sometimes you get sent away to Exile Island. Sometimes you don't. Like it's just whatever.
And when they do it, it's like permanent, right?
Yeah, you're
Like,
all together.
Yeah. And when you merge, then
Right.
your previous relationships don't count for shit.
Unless you can maintain them.
Yeah.
With all
Right.
these other people around.
Right.
And the only way that works is if like half of the merge is one team and everybody else is like scraps from other teams.
But it can totally fuck with your game.
Oh
like,
yeah, everything they do
majorly.
fucks with your
Yeah.
game. They're like,
As it should. As it
how
should.
do we fuck today?
Yeah,
is what they do every day
I mean,
at
it's called
Survivor
Survivor
headquarters.
fuck,
Yeah.
right? Like,
What are we fucking with today? Who
Survive
we fucking?
this.
How we fucking? Let's fuck with everybody.
yeah,
fuck.
yeah.
You know what? Speaking of fucking, though, I'm kind of pissed off. I do like to see showmances, and I'm sort of pissed off that there is no fucking.
Showmances.
Yeah,
That's great.
I always love a showmance.
But you know
Oh,
what? Though?
I love
think,
that.
I think that like they produce it on purpose. They know who's gonna be all like stupid and lovey-dovey.
That's
yeah.
fine. I want it still.
Totally.
Like, bring it.
I remember even Hell's Kitchen had a really good season with the showmance. I've never heard that word before. That's great.
Oh yeah,
That's,
they had
that's a Big Brother word.
They
Yeah.
had a showmance, and I do believe you are 1,000% right that it is produced because, in this one they ended up being the 2 finalists, and they had to go up against each other for
yeah.
the restaurant.
And
And,
see,
I'm
that's
sorry
what-
at that point. And I told Claudia I'm eating it up.
Yeah. Well,
Like I didn't even care about the food. I'm like, what's
Well-
gonna happen to their dynamic?
I know. I love it.
throwing those in when you see that happen. Like at the end of it, they're like, "Well, these 2 are in love. How do we make this a fucking pop?
Yeah, like no
make
one.
them chef against each other."
Right. But it's
And
great.
then-
Or it's just the producers being like, this isn't a dating show. That's not what we're here for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they build it up, right? And then they crush it.
Okay, so this merge that I really need to
Sorry,
talk about
yes,
because
yes,
I've
this
double
merge,
backed
yes.
like 5 times.
Sorry, yes.
But this merge that I want to tell you about that really matters to you, I know it does, is they merged and then they were like, oh, half of you don't get to merge. You need to now fight it out in another challenge, and at that challenge, then vote somebody out. Whoever loses has to vote somebody else.
Everybody gets to vote, but only half of them were eligible
Right,
to,
right,
be,
Yeah.
right.
to be voted out.
That's
so everybody
cool.
else goes to the merge feast.
That's a big mind fuck.
Yeah, but hang on. So then they take one person
better.
out of this group, and they send them to their own island. and they say you like
out of the losing group.
out of the losing
Yeah.
group. They were like, okay, you get to leave. So she didn't eat. She lost, and then now she has to go survive for 2 nights on her own. Make her own food, make her own shelter, and like, there's nothing there. There's no shelter, so you go back to like less than what you started with.
So they like have to find animals and eat them?
No, just they have rice. And they have to make
I
a
don't think
fire.
they gave her rice. I think she had to do like little fish and stuff, like
Really?
crustaceans.
I
and
wasn't
coconuts.
Yeah, that sounds more right.
Jeez.
Yeah,
This season had no rice. They
that's
weren't,
true.
Yeah,
And they
which
took
is
away your
crazy.
flint when you
What's
fucked
the
up.
rule?
They took away
It's a
the
mill,
flint.
right? At least.
Is
Is
it
it
what?
a mill?
It's a mill, yeah, it's a mill.
Okay, thank God.
So, they take this woman away, and she goes, and then Jeff shows up, and he was like, "I have a surprise for you," and he's like, "Here's an hourglass. You can change the course of time. You can take what just happened, where this one team won, and they're safe, and they don't have to vote, and you can make the other team win, and they're safe,
What?
and they don't have a vote, and then make the team that won have to scrap it out to survive. So you reverse everything that happened.
Reverse the outcome. Yeah. They made it such a big deal too, as if like, what's she gonna do? I'm like, she's obviously gonna reverse it. Like,
Yeah.
puts herself back on top.
It
But
was
that is insane.
It
was
was
crazy.
It was a fucking huge.
So just because of
game
a rule
changer.
like that, you won, but you didn't now because she says,
Yeah.
Oh, and
we're
one guy had
reversing
a
it.
fucking
He
meltdown
must have
about it.
lost
He was
his
such
mind.
a fucking baby. He was like, it's not fair.
This
Oh.
isn't. He's a
I
he's
love-
a
He's
a
football,
football player.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
from the
come
NFL. He's like,
on.
the way I win is you win and you're done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see, athletes are the worst in those shows. Every time I've watched a Joe versus Pro or whatever kind of thing, the athletes have, to me, a lot of them have the shortest, like, actual, like, sportsmanship
Yeah.
mind. Like, it's the people that play the reality TV shows.
Sportsmanship goes out the window when you make
Well, 'cause they're
4
too-
million
'cause-
in a quarter.
And I think what it is, too, is that literally it's engraved in their brain that rules, but Survivor is Survivor. There's one rule. Survive whatever
Yeah.
we tell you to.
I'm gonna make a
And they're
fake
not
idol
used
and
to
make
that.
you think that idol's real.
Right, and they're not
God,
used
that
to
was
that.
such a good play. I was so excited to see that play, and we were going back and forth about how we thought they were going to do it. I'm like, he's going to show it, and it's not going to be real. And Dam's like, oh, you're giving him too much credit. I'm like, no.
No, and then when he
Yeah.
like
Do they still vote each other out and show it to the camera?
yeah,
Is that-
Yeah.
at the
that's
end of the
awesome.
show they show you
Right.
who voted for who
That was
after.
always so good.
it's
And then
all
they
done.
put out their fire.
Anyways,
That's right.
Okay.
Anyway, so yeah, so there we go.
Sorry.
That's what I watched this week.
Tell the listener how many
Fake idols.
fake idols out of 10
You
this
know what?
season?
This season of Survivor, I'm thinking it's a solid 6 fake idols out of 10.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it, but not significantly more than any other season. And unless I get a showmance in there soon, I'm going to feel like there was just a little element missing from the excitement for me, because I'm a sucker for love.
I get it, and like that's what used to happen before, and now like this is just post COVID, so I give it a 9 because I'm just like, give me more Survivor. Like when they took away my Survivor, we were watching Australian Survivor,
Yeah.
and then we got into it, and then someone was like, Survivor's back, and I was like, I'm fucking cheating on Australian Survivor. Fuck you, Down Under. I'm going back to
But
the
also-
OG.
Also, because it's COVID Survivor, I feel like everyone's been away from people for so long. Like, I would be making out with everybody. I'd be like, yes, people that have been
Yeah.
COVID tested and we're all
I don't even
isolated.
like you,
I
but
don't
I
even
can
like
do
you,
this.
but like,
Yeah.
let's all get it on this island. Yeah.
That makes perfect.
You
fucking
guys
sense.
should seriously watch the show The Challenge.
The challenge is awesome. The MTV
It's
challenge.
so good.
It is fun.
And what's crazy is they now, in the seasons that they're at right now, they got people from Survivor,
Big Brother.
Big
Survivor.
Brother, all of them. It's crazy, man. But that's what it reminds me of. Because in the challenge, they did something like that, where a team won, and then the guy lost, and then they picked him, and they made him go somewhere, and everyone's like, he's gone, and everyone's like, what? And then he goes to a house, and they're like, so guess what? If you press this button, everything gets reversed. Yeah, and he right away didn't
Dum,
even
dum,
he didn't even hear what else happens. He's hit it.
Fuck it.
Yeah,
I have to put my penis in a
But it's
cuff.
great.
I don't care. I'm
It's-
fucking hitting this button.
But it's great. It's cool. Like, and that's what it is. It's like, and what's neat is you see people from like Big Brother, Survivor all compete, and they all have beef from their own shows that I don't watch. So when they come to this, I'm just laughing. I'm like, this guy just hates this guy.
Like
'cause
Fessy.
something-
Fessy was
oh,
on there.
I
He's from-
hate him.
From Big Brother.
Oh, I hate him so much. He's
Yeah,
someone
'cause
that if I saw,
reality television people are like their
Oh,
own
he's-
hierarchy.
Yeah.
he's the worst though, dude. You know why he's the worst? Because he, in theory, is like a Hulk. But where he should be a Hulk, like, you know, he actually forfeited in a fucking, the main challenge, the one to win it all. He forfeited because he couldn't eat the food. Because then the challenge, they always have a part where you have to eat like donkey
like fear
dicks or
factor.
like, yeah, they do a fear factor element. Because that's what the challenge is it's a little
Somebody
bit
ever
of all
is
of them.
somebody ever like, whoa, yeah, donkey dick. I haven't had that since I was a kid.
Well, the vets go, there's one guy, he's my favorite, and he won the last one. He's the old man, and he won. And when they got to it, he goes, "This one's chewy, this one's gamey, this one you can swallow. What do you want to do?" And the guy looks at him, and then he goes, "This one's first," and he just starts going for it, and everyone's just like looking at him, and they're so scared. And then later on, he pukes his brains out, but he killed it. He knew. I love it. I just love it.
I want to do more reality television, but I'm more interested in because normally this is what you watched, Emily, but because it's special features and we're playing outside of the realm of our normal programming for the listener here.
Multiverse of Madness.
Multiverse of Madness, exactly. Anything is fucking possible on a special feature. So mark that as done.
Okay.
And next item on the docket.
Boom.
You didn't. Well, I know you watched shit this week, but what did you play? Because you obviously got a new game.
Yeah. So while I was working on the movie, that basically consumed my life. So I wasn't doing much of anything. And now that I've had some time off, I've been playing catch up. And the new game that I got, it's called Deathloop. And it's actually pretty cool. Like I'm not a huge first-person gamer. It's a first-person game.
I am.
But what's cool about the...
Is that the commercial with the two? There's the guy and the girl, and one of them's like, "I need to escape from here," and the other one's like, "I need to preserve it here."
That's right.
Yeah. Cool.
So what's neat about it is basically you play this guy, you wake up on an island, no idea how you got there or anything, and it's Groundhog Day. So basically the same day keeps looping over and over, but what the crazy thing is you have an arsenal of weapons. There's enemies all over this island. You don't know what the fuck's going on, but basically you can kill anyone, and then when it resets, everybody comes back, including you. So if you die, like you get 3 lives like Mario style. If you use all 3 lives, it automatically goes back to the beginning of the day. So it's kind of like an escape room meets like kind of like a Bond-esque kind of storyline. So I'm near the end, and what's really cool about it is you are in the dark about everything, except you start finding these case files, and when you read them and then you listen to audio clips, you're starting to get more information. You start figuring out that this was actually like a government project that went
It's always a government
horribly wrong. You've been stuck in this loop for 17 years, and it's like, holy shit. And you're finding out a bunch of other stuff, but basically what it is you play this character that's stuck in this loop. You're trying to get out of it, and there's this female assassin who's named Juliana, and she's trying to keep the loop going.
Right, because she just fucking loves it there, right? Because
She
she's
loves
like
it.
violent, and she just gets
She
like
loves
fuck
it.
shit up all the time.
She
yeah.
loves it. She's like, Colt, your character's name is Colt, and I think there's one part in the game where it's like, Colt, I think I've killed you over 1,000 something hundred times.
Oh.
But I keep finding new ways, and I fucking love it.
Did Christopher Nolan make this
Like,
video game?
It's really cool, and what's neat about it is like the art direction is it's a really cool game, and what I like about it is it's definitely outside of the box, and I like the Groundhog Day effect of it and whatnot. Ironically, what drives me a little bit nuts is I love putting in, like, I can put 8 hours into a video game, no problem. With this game, while it gives me more and more, I'm like, oh my god, yes, because it's on a loop. After like 3 hours, you kind of want to blow your brains out because you're like, holy fuck.
Call me Bill Murray and give me the fucking gun.
Because literally, like, it's like, so there's 4 different locations. You can visit them in all, like, morning, afternoon, evening. The locations are always the same layout, but like a location you need to get to is open only in the evening, closed during the day. And a code that's in that place, you need to get into this place, but it's only open in the evening. Do you know what I mean? So you do a lot of revisiting.
No, I don't. I'm very fucking
It's
confused.
so nuts. And your character makes references to that as it goes. It's really funny. Like at one point, there's a cutscene, and he's explaining all the information, and then he literally rips the cutscene, and he's like, what the fuck is going on? And then it zooms in on his brain, and it just shows his brain go, Psh, and it just goes to mush. And then it goes back to you, and it's like, okay, let's try and figure this out. And it finally does, and you're just kind of laughing because you're like, it's totally an Inception mindfuck. But it's really neat because I'm at a point now where I figured out how to break the loop, and now I need to execute it.
Does your character wake up with the memories of like the
Yeah.
times they died? Okay, cool.
So, but what's interesting,
You know,
he's
Leonardo
been there
DiCaprio said he figured out how to break the loop too, and it didn't.
and then he's
end-
gone for a bit now.
Yeah.
No, but it's
So-
really good. It's really cool. It's what I love too is, again, a really cool feature with the PS5 controllers is the whole controller is basically a motion pad. So what I mean by
So
that
it's
is
a
like
vibrator.
you feel the triggers like when you with certain guns, the triggers actually click in, and like there's one gun that fires like single shots like this, so the triggers actually go like that, and then they jam up, so they actually jam, and then you have to mash a button and pull it into like as if you're like, and the character's unjamming the
How
gun.
much fucking
so
expectations
really cool.
does PS5 have
it's
of their
really
gamers?
cool, man.
It's
really cool.
I want you to take this controller apart. It's part of the game.
It's cool though. It's cool. Like, and
Um,
what I like is it has different weights. So if you have a sniper rifle, the controller's a little bit heavier and the trigger's heavier to pull. If you have a pistol, the controller's lighter and the trigger's much lighter to pull.
I have
like shit
noticed
like that.
the level of storytelling in gaming over the last 10 years.
It's insane.
It's insane. Like they're now like Mark Bernardin from Fat Man Beyond.
Yeah, yeah,
is
yeah.
writing for a Marvel proxy
Yes.
video game.
Yeah.
That is he didn't say much about, but like he's a writer for TV.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
now he's being brought in to write a video game, and the level that video games are like the treatment that video games are given now to tell stories. I don't play the story modes that much because I just like killing 12-year-olds in Portland, but but like
See, and
you
I'm
know
the
what the point
opposite.
is.
Like I'm all about like
You
to
like
me-
story, yeah.
Oh, I like if a game is only online, I'm like, no.
Do you play story?
You know what? I actually didn't grow up playing video games, so I lose a bit of the understanding of how to get right into the movements and using the controls in an effective way. But what I do like to do is watch video games being played in story mode.
Yeah.
So I get a lot out of that because, like you said,
Your
the stories.
husband, does your husband play video
Yeah,
games?
yeah, he does.
Holy fuck, is he a lucky man?
And so the
Big time.
I find interest.
Great white buffalo over here.
I find it interesting because, like you said, there's a lot of energy and effort put into writing the storylines, and not only that, but a lot of the time the characters are voiced and acted by people who are
Yeah.
really, really talented.
Yeah.
So
Is that Ed Harris?
And they're making them like movies.
Keanu
Jamie
Reeves?
Foxx, right? Like Keanu Reeves.
even the way you play the games, like Uncharted is a really popular one because even the parts where you're playing it, it's still framed like a movie, and then it goes right into cutscenes.
The Call of Duty
like a movie.
proxy games.
Yeah,
like
right?
Call of
Like-
Duty, we're going to the moon. Call of Duty, we live in space.
Well, and,
they use fucking Kit Harington in a Call of Duty
Yeah,
game.
they did. Yeah. Well, and what I think is interesting is the reason why I think it's attracting a lot of writers and like big names and stuff is video games still have a little bit more creative freedom than even TV and movies do, because it's the market is completely different than kids, toys, audience. Video games are only for home consumption. There's no theatrical like income
There
in that
should
sense.
be. There should be a Tuesday night at IMAX where I can play Mario
Dude,
Kart.
when I was a kid, I
love
remember on
Right?
Portage there was a place called Magic Land,
Yeah?
and that was a wicked arcade, and they used to do shit like that, and it was awesome. They used to have like Sunday nights they'd have a PS2, and they'd get like the first copy of like whatever game was out, and
So
would
they're
have,
playing Tony Hawk and Hawk's
Yeah,
like 14
yeah,
feet
man.
fucking tall.
Uh.
Yeah, the microphone falls.
Like,
It's falling for you.
it's falling for me.
It loves,
but yeah,
it
no,
loves your sweet, sweet sound.
It's it's never been a better time to be a gamer right now. And you know what? Funny enough, Emily, you are amazing. Claudia does the same thing. There are some games that she can actually just sit and watch me play.
Yeah, sure.
Especially horror games. She loves those
Yeah,
ones because she
horror
loves
games
getting
are cool.
scared and
Well,
shit.
yeah, it's designed
Yeah.
to jump scare. Okay. Before we mark it, how many Groundhog Days out of 10 do you give it? Because it sounds like you're Bill Murraying the shit out of this.
No, for sure. I'm near the end. I would say as of right now, I'm gonna give it 8. I'm gonna give it 8 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I definitely recommend it.
Perfect. Charles asked me what I watched this week.
Michael, what did you watch this week?
Oh, thanks for asking. I finished Only Murders in the Building.
Oh, that's the Steve Martin one, right?
Steve Martin Short,
Short?
Selena Gomez.
Yes.
Nathan Lane, too.
Get out.
Actually,
I heard he's a regular now for the new season.
Only Murders in the Building. Shout out to Doug Darling, who said that, like in a side chat group that I have, he was like, Martin Short is the best he's ever been.
He's so good, eh?
And I was like, that's a pretty bold statement. I'm going to go see if this can be backed up. And so Only Murders in the Building on Stars? I don't know. What's the Disney Plus Stars?
Yeah,
Is it
so
Stars?
I think in the
Stars?
States
Okay.
it's Hulu, but here it's Stars.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't fucking rights bullshit.
Yeah.
But
But it's good, eh?
it's so good. So it's The three of
It's
them
amazing.
the three of them live in the Arconia, which is this old apartment building in New York, and a murder happens in the building.
Yeah.
And they don't really know of each other. One of them is a washed-up actor. The other one is a washed-up theater director. And the other one is an interior designer who has like a mysterious past. So the long and the short of it all is this murder happens, and all three of them are in love with this true crime podcast that they all listen to.
Right.
This murder in the building sparks the idea to do a true crime podcast and solve the murder of Tim Kono, who was killed in the Arconia. That's the plot.
Ah, gotcha.
And it, like, I know we do a thing. It's called podcast. The podcast humor in it is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like how they have merch, constant download speak. Can you say that again in a more definitive tone? Like so many. Like Martin
That's
Short's
great.
walking around like a boom in a doggy carriage to try to get, like, because he's the director. And
Yeah.
And Steve Martin is the actor, so he's the guy doing the voice. And then
That's
like
so
Tina
great.
Fey does a cameo in it. Like
Oh, that's great.
I feel like I failed myself in life that this is the first time I'm hearing of this. This is so perfectly in my wheelhouse that I can't believe, like, what rock have I been living under that this is the first time I'm hearing about this show?
I saw it. It's been out since September. I was like, I'll get to it because
It's just
such
such a-
you have every platform.
The poster, it's the Selena Gomez. Not that I don't like her. It's just when
You
I
know-
saw her thrown in, I was like, huh.
It takes a minute to get.
But I heard
used
it
to her.
works.
It does. I mean, she's. I don't know. She's dwarfed by comedic giants like the two of them. There's a scene. I mean, for anybody who loves Dirty Rotten Scoundrels,
Oh, yeah.
there's a scene where Steve Martin is being pushed around and he's Ruprecht. He's 100% Ruprecht. Like the face
Yeah.
and every. Someone was like, "Be Ruprecht," and he was like, "Mother."
Yeah.
Mother, and the joke, like Martin Short is fantastic, and they each have these.
Good.
They each have these like subplots about them that
Yeah.
you fall in love with. They're half an hour episodes, so it's 5 hours. You can kill it on a Saturday. You'll be the quips.
Yeah.
The like just the jokes are, and like Martin is actually more Steve, not Martin Short. It's really hard. They had the same
Steve
initials.
Martin Short.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they had the same initials too.
Yeah.
I just love that they're both Canadian. They're ours. I get protective over that kind of shit. I'm like, no, we had SCTV,
Well, it's nice to
motherfuckers.
claim,
like,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like it's cute. It's fun. It's crime fiction. There's a bunch of F-bombs everywhere because it's on Star.
Yeah.
It's more adult. There are.
This is why we have to
jokes.
password protect our adult Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Because it's the adult content.
You will trip
Yeah.
over it, and there's like 27 F-bombs in it. Like it's
Love it.
And the greenlit for a second season.
Yeah.
So
Well, and Steve Martin and Martin Short, they have such a long history together.
yeah.
Like,
Oh,
right?
working
So-
like, well, they're all three of them are exec producers.
Oh, they are. Yeah.
Steve Martin created it with John Hoffman. It's so much fun to watch. It's 10
Well-
episodes too, so like, you'll get into it.
I used to be obsessed. I still am. Whenever he does it, or whenever they whenever they replay a special Jiminy Glick. I used to love that fucking character. He
His
was
hair is
so
his
crazy.
hair is very similar to it in one scene. Like it just there's throwbacks to
Yeah.
like 50 years of comedy.
Yeah,
And
for
the only thing
sure.
that doesn't happen is Steve doesn't play a banjo.
No way.
That would have been the only thing that like really would have been like, wow, these guys are just
Well,
like
they
we
have-
got money to just be ourselves.
And they have a special together on Netflix. It's
They
really
do.
good. It's
They do.
really, really good.
Yeah.
I just grew up in such a Steve Martin household that was my introduction to comedy at such a young age, and I feel like there was a lot of things that I watched that were not particularly appropriate for a child
Yeah.
because they starred Steve Martin.
The Jerk.
Oh, the jerk
Yeah.
is so
Rotten
good.
Scoundrels,
Yeah.
Roxanne.
These
Scoundrels.
kids.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the skit he did on SNL, the incompetent waiter? Like,
Yeah.
and the guy's like, hang on, just wait for it. It's worth it. And
Yeah.
It's like, and here's your change. 50, 20, 70, 90, 100, 200, 300. Have a good night.
Absolutely.
But
that's
yeah,
great.
I give it
So excited.
8.5 true crime podcasts out of 10. I would give it a 9 if there was more Tina Fey. She's in it briefly.
That's great.
And what she does do is great. And like even the tropes of like Tina Fey's assistant has that monotone true crime voice. that
Oh,
you
yeah,
hear
yeah,
where
yeah,
they're
yeah.
like, and we find out there was more. like there's a scene where they're just taping something, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden she says it, and Faye turns around. She was like, "You said it, but I own it." So yeah, check it out. It's on
That's
Star.
awesome.
It's super fun.
Can't wait.
Anyways, yeah. So that's There it is. I that's all. I didn't. What? Is there anything else? No, not really. I mean, like shit that you rewatch as background shit, but like that's not new shit.
I do want to make quick mention. Have either of you? Do you watch Big Mouth?
Oh yeah, that's what I watched.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, we chewed through like.
I've not
Sunday
done
afternoon.
the latest season, but fuck, is it good so far?
The
It's
latest
great.
season is really sincere, where the other three were just like dick and fart joke
Yeah,
galore. But this
yeah.
one's like getting, I think, as they age up,
Yeah,
they're
it's getting
getting
more mature, right?
yeah.
Like they're getting older and they're dealing with more. Like the love bug, the whole love bug thing.
The love bug thing
Yeah,
was pretty
that
smart,
whole
yeah.
introduction was really funny.
Well, did you
It was
hear
really
that
good.
they're? Do you watch Big Mouth?
I have. It's on my to-watch list, but I have not watched
Emily,
it yet.
you're gonna love it. It is
Lose your
so.
mind.
I feel like I'm coming
insane.
out of this with so many new, exciting things to watch in all of my
Okay.
spare time that doesn't exist.
I just
So
have to
thank
make
you.
mention because I know Emily, you'll love this. Kumal Nanjiani
Is Kumal?
plays himself, but Kamal Nanjiani, he's a cum monster, but it is Kumal who voices it, and it's chiseled
Kumal.
as Kumal, and he's Kamal Nanjiani,
So-
and it's so good.
I'll give you like
He's
the-
working out. Remember, he's just breaking everything.
the whole show is based around puberty.
Yeah.
This is the elevator
Excellent.
pitch. So what it is it's Nick, not Schwartzman.
No. It's John Mulaney.
John Mulaney.
Nick.
God damn it.
God
Kroll.
damn.
Nick Kroll.
Nick Kroll.
Nick Kroll, John Mulaney, Jenny Slate.
Yeah.
First seasons they casted her out because she was white and she was playing a black character and it was wrong.
But they brought her
They
back
realized it. They
playing-
know it.
She's playing really funny characters in the
Yeah.
one. She plays a bunch of side.
Basically it's Fred Armisen is
Fred
in it.
Armisen, like
Jordan Peele's in it.
So many comedians even make cameos,
They
and
do.
some of them make cameos as themselves in it, which is even better.
So much fun when that
But it's
happens.
basically just it focuses on a group of like
grade 7, grade 8, grade
Yeah.
9, grade 10.
Oh, we're back to the children having
it's-
sex.
and they're
It's
going
the
through puberty.
rotten version
Yeah.
of sex education.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I think the first episode is John Mulaney's character is getting he's getting a boner in class, and it's one of the like he can't help it, like it just happens. But the boner comes his hormone monster. and the-
Everybody has a hormone monster.
right, and that's the way they explain the unexpected boners and the unexpected thoughts
And Nick
and
Kroll.
night sweats.
Nick
and
Kroll
stuff.
is one of them.
Yeah, and the
name
hormone monsters are, you know where
his
the
name
wild
is-
things are?
Yes.
It's one of them.
Yeah. Oh,
It's
that's
basically one of them, but they're
His-
fucked.
His name is Maury. And he shows up out of nowhere.
Yeah,
And he'll be like, Jay, why don't you go fuck that pillow, Jay?
yeah.
And Jay, the character,
Yeah.
has an absolute obsession with fucking his pillow. Like that's
Yeah.
and that's Jason Mantzoukas' character.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Oh,
and
Jason
so-
Mantzoukas
And you know
is
who
so
plays
great.
the female hormone monster?
Maya fucking Rudolph.
Maya Rudolph.
Oh, of course.
She's so good.
And there's okay, so
Connie. She's
there's
so good.
There's two things about this. So yeah, the hormone monsters are great, and there's Nick Kroll's character. Oh fuck, their names are eluding me. But anyways, he's late to puberty.
Yeah.
So he has
And it's Nick.
Nick.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
he's
Nick.
Nick, yeah.
Nick has a 90-year-old hormone monster.
Yeah.
He talks like this all day long. He's like,
And it
like,
literally always has subtitles because he's like
you
dying.
can't understand him.
Yeah.
And it's
He's so fucked up.
so they just released. All the hormone monsters are getting their own series
They are?
called Human Resources.
Oh my
Oh my
God.
gosh.
That's
So
great.
There's hormone monsters for every level
Yeah.
and everything that goes on.
Yeah.
So it's like the fucked up version of that kids movie Inside Out.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
Totally.
yeah.
It's
That's
fucking
amazing.
But it's
ridiculous.
like it's amazing. Like one of my favorite episodes is Jessie, who's the main girl. She discovers her vagina. Like she's getting, I guess it's her first experience with getting like horny.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
she's discovering her vagina, and it was mentioned to her to actually look at it. So she takes a mirror, and as soon as she looks at it, it shows this beautiful vagina, but it's Kristen Wiig's voice, and it's actually drawn like Kristen
Kristen
Wiig
Wiig.
as a vagina.
her head is
And
the
it's-
clit,
yeah.
and her body is the
and
lips.
she's like, "Hi, how are you? I've been waiting to talk to you for so long."
amazing.
And right away, and she's like, "Oh my God, I'm sorry, I'm kind of nervous." She's like, "There's nothing to be nervous about. I'm you. You're me." And she's like, "Yeah, you're right." Oh, it's so great. Yeah,
it's
That's
every
fantastic.
awkward.
and she even makes a
moment.
joke. She's like, she's like, yeah, it's just me and the taint, and don't even get me started on the asshole. And then the taint goes, and she's like, just kidding, we're best friends. Yeah, it's so
Kristen
funny.
Wiig is great.
It's
But
just sketch comedy
amazing.
over top of awkward situations laced with dick and fart jokes.
Yeah.
With some of the best comedians.
And then there's
actors.
some real
Yeah.
legit,
Everything is
serious,
tackled with the
With
idea to
humor.
educate,
Yeah.
but with humor.
Because there's like, for instance, there's one episode where Jay is trying to figure out, he likes guys and girls and he doesn't understand, like he's not afraid or anything. He's just like, what am I? And then they have a whole episode where they literally they have musical numbers. They do a musical number to explain pansexual and
Yes,
everything.
yes,
and
yes.
it's incredible how they do it. Like, it's so good.
They
Yeah.
do.
I
They
like,
do.
I like how we bookended this segment with like really wholesome things about teenagers discovering their sexuality,
Yeah.
but in a crude, funny way. That's nice.
We started with education and we ended with a talking vagina.
Yeah, that's right.
We're accidentally wholesome in this segment, and I love it.
Well, I got a list of shit that we've all been waiting to chew the fat on.
That's right. That's right.
Mark that fucker down as off the list.
Bam!
And
It's so satisfying.
it is really satisfying. Push that button. I love it. So first item on the list, first two, we'll give both of these movies as much time as they've given us so far, which is about 2 minutes in the trailer. So Emily, we'll start with you, and we'll start with the book of Boba Fett. What did that trailer make you feel? Did you feel like Jay from Big Mouth and got a little funny over your pillow?
Yeah, a little bit. No, I was really, really excited that trailer was. I was really excited to watch it. I gotta say that the trailer, maybe this was what it was meant to do, but it left me with more questions than excitement. But I am a Boba Fett fan, and I always have been since the original movies, because I was always intrigued by the fact that there was this character who got a lot of mention and kind of a lot of screen time and attention with really no additional character development. And a line, of course, from Star Wars that's always stuck in my head is Han Solo being like, Boba Fett, where? Right? And so...
Oh, no!
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's...
Which makes no sense because he's probably said 14 words by then.
I know, yeah. But he's like, he's got a name and he's got a presence. And so I'm really excited to see it. Slave One was always one of my favorite ships. And so I'm really looking forward to getting some more Slave One action.
They might not be calling it Slave One.
They're not. They're
anymore.
calling it the class, like as opposed to the name. It's like a fire.
They're
It's
giving
not
it
a bad name.
It's
not terrible.
It's not a bad name, but he's
But
a
I get
bounty
it.
hunter and he was a slave driver. And
But you know
and-
what? But it
Yeah.
makes sense, too, because they did show a little bit in the trailer that he says he's not a bounty hunter.
Well,
He makes the effort to say he's not a bounty hunter.
in
Yeah.
my opinion, he's regurgitated Boba. Because if we're going back into the fucking graphic novels, he was in that Sarlacc
and they're
pit
gonna-
for a really
dude,
fucking long time.
They're showing us. They're gonna show us that scene.
I
know
need
they're
that.
Going
I
to.
need
They're
Filoni
going
to
to.
give me that.
They're going to.
Because if he doesn't,
They're going to.
there's no explanation
And what's
for
his
the
face?
existence of
And
Boba.
Patton Oswalt is going to be the first one to be like, yes,
Right?
yes.
Is it an episode of Community?
Oh,
Is that
dude,
the one you're talking about?
100%.
Yeah.
Or
I know.
not Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec, that's
yeah.
it. I
The
would like to
filibuster,
argue- yeah.
He's like, we open to the Sarlacc pit.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fire spray.
Sorry.
So they're thinking
Okay.
fire
There it
spray,
is.
and,
Nice.
that's the
Okay, that's a
the
good
class
name.
of ship. So it's kind of like if we're talking about Firefly and Serenity, right? The name
Yeah.
of the ship is
Yeah.
the name of the ship is Serenity. It's a Firefly class.
So-
I think the name of the ship is Slave One, and it's a fire spray class.
As opposed to like X-Wing is the X-Wing class, but
Exactly.
if he wanted to call it something,
You could name your X-wing Barbara if you wanted.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Why did they never do that?
Hello,
Or like
I don't know.
paint shit on the side of them, you know? Like
Yeah.
like, did you guys ever see Memphis Belle?
No.
Memphis Belle has got like every young, the people who weren't available for what's the one, Pony Boy and
Oh, The Outsider?
The Outsiders.
Outsiders.
Everybody
Yeah.
who wasn't available for The Outsiders
Did that?
did Memphis Belle.
That's great.
Basically. So, but Memphis Belle is about a bomber class plane in World War II, flying over Germany and bombing.
Oh, cool.
But like they paint,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
the pinup
The
girl,
war dog
the
thing
war
or
dog
whatever,
thing, right?
yeah,
So I was
yeah.
like, why did they never put like Yoda on the side of one as like a tribute to fuck it,
or yeah, like what is it? May the Force be with you, even
or
just on
something,
it. Yeah.
right? Or like,
Well, these are the things
I don't
that
break for droids or some dumb shit.
This is what I'm excited for these shows. Is I think this is what's going to be the real thing Star Wars needs to.
Yeah, she
really
raises that's the point.
expand the universe.
Is that an unknown character?
Yeah.
That
For
somehow
so
that somehow
long.
captured people's attention.
Yes.
Now we get to expand on
See,
it.
And,
Yeah.
and that's why I'm nervous because there's a lot to that mystery. Like almost like
You're away from the.
Before-
you're-
oh,
there-
sorry.
Yeah.
before episode 3, it was really cool to not know Anakin, to only know
Yep.
Vader. But done right, which the trailer looks like, it's a whole, like, it's exactly what you said, Emily.
It's post Jabba.
Yeah,
Yes.
because
Yeah, yeah.
it
Well,
sounds like
he's
he's
taking his
taking
throne.
over
And he
Jabba's
said that
operation.
line.
I heard somebody say that this is like Oren Ishii from Kill Bill.
Yeah.
Where she comes in to like
cuts the head off,
right?
Yeah.
He's like, I'll listen
Well,
to you. I'll understand you. I'll
He
hear
had
your
a
place.
great line in the trailer because they said, like, what's
Why
going to
should
make us
we
not kill
trust
you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he
yeah.
said, because you're going to respect me and not fear me. And I was like, damn,
Yeah.
Boba, yeah.
I love
Right?
I love
like
that it's Django.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's
Yeah,
Django.
it's
It's the
Django.
same
Yeah.
actor
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
So to bring him back gives us that, because it's the 30-year timeline
Yes.
that Mandalorian and Boba are both taking place in.
Yeah.
And it's the 30 years between Return and
Force.
And Force.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that gap is being filled.
Yeah. Like, that's why there was a mumble of a First Order, but it wasn't even the First Order. But you can tell that those seeds are being planted in the Empire, that there's a new... We're coming for a rebound. Like, we're coming for a remake. We're coming back. So it's neat that they're already kind of planting those seeds. And that's what I like about it, is that they're really treating it kind of like the MCU universe, where everything is just going to expand on everything else. You want to just watch the movies? That's fine. You want to know more about Boba Fett? There's more about him. You don't want to know? You can just keep it with the
Who
movies.
owns the book
right?
rights? I know Disney owns everything, but like what publishing house has?
I think Disney does. I'm pretty sure they do, because I
so they
heard that
literally
they've
stopped
already,
everybody writing a book.
Well, they've already changed. They changed a couple things that were canon. Apparently, that the books were apparently canon. They changed that to accommodate Force Awakens, I think.
Yeah, I know
Because
they
I
did.
think canon before Disney was the twins, Han and Leia having twins, and one going.
That's what I
into-
know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that was
what I
canon.
know.
That
And
was
then I also
canon.
know Luke Breaking Bad too.
Yeah,
Luke eventually joins the dark side. And
yeah, they
you know.
explored. Yeah, they did that whole.
All right. I just
But what I think, back to what Emily said, is that I think it's really neat that we're gonna get one of the most cult classic characters of Star Wars ever, and we're now not even getting, like, we're gonna get backstory, but I shouldn't even say it's backstory. It's like future story.
It's ongoing story.
Yeah, it's like present story.
Yeah.
Like I definitely think we're gonna see him get out of the Sarlacc pit, but I don't think we're gonna see anything earlier. Like, I don't. We don't
I
need
really
to.
hope it's not Star Wars campy where they're like, and then out he pops.
Just burps him back
No,
up.
he's gonna cut that motherfucker.
I don't want
up,
indigestion.
man.
I want him melding with it,
Yeah,
tricking it like
Yeah.
it is in the graphic novel. Like I want all.
And I
that
think
in
some of
there.
the armor is going to be already starting to melt off. Like, it's one of those things where he gets out where it was like that was his
Indigestion.
last like kind of play.
Yeah.
And if it didn't work, he was going to die. Because the thing is, like, what they say, it can take up to 900 years or something ridiculous. They
Yeah,
say?
so they digested over 900 years,
Yeah.
which they definitely set up, I think, in Mandalorian with, their armor
Yeah.
being being that indestructible. So
Right.
he's going to have more opportunity. I mean, as long as he doesn't starve to death or die
Totally.
of dehydration
Right.
inside the Sarlacc, he's going to have the opportunity to get
Well,
out of
and
there.
based on where Mandalorian is, he wasn't in that Sarlacc pit super, super long.
No.
Because between Return of the Jedi and this, I think they said 6 years, so he was in there for 6,
Okay,
which is fucked.
you bring up something that's interesting because we only had Mando's armor to compare anything on, and then we get the Mandalorian, and there's like tons of Mandalorians around.
Yeah.
And they
And Boba's is kind of junky.
Yeah. So
but-
like, okay.
Junkie maybe like the Millennium Falcon, right?
Right,
like
right,
been
right,
through
right,
a
right.
lot,
Been
like
through a
seen
lot,
some things,
But
definitely can
probably
stand up.
the
Yeah.
best armor there
Probably.
is. Yeah.
All right. So quick question, Emily. Old and busted or new hotness? Like, do you like Mando's more? That's my Will Smith from Men in
Yeah,
Black there.
no, it's got to be old and busted. I think what Charles said was perfect, that it's a cult classic character. It goes right back to like the heart of how excited you were as a kid watching Star Wars for the first time. And as long as it's done right, I think you just can't mess it up, because I'm just so excited to get more experience and exposure to this character. That was such a integral part of my childhood and my love of this whole series. So I can't wait. I can't wait.
Yeah, I can't
That'd be
wait to
awesome.
see him get outfitted with new shit. Like the
Yeah.
shit that Mando got, like the
Yeah.
bird thing that sent like 47 missiles
Yeah.
out. Like
Yeah.
all we know he has, he's got a jetpack.
Yeah.
He's got a flamethrower. I played
And
a
again,
lot of Battlefront.
For all you know, too, the trailer, that could be the first 2 episodes.
It could,
Which
and-
they're going to put
Okay,
probably on the first day.
I
right?
listened to people smarter than me, so I had more information. So, yeah, again, quoting Fat Man Beyond, it reads like the first 3 minutes of the first episode.
Dude, totally. And if I were Disney, that's what all my trailers would be. Like, even for the next Star Wars movie, if the next Star Wars movie is, even though it's delayed, if it's going to be a Rogue Squadron, my only trailer for it would be that first flight. Them turning on everything, boom, light speed, coming to theaters. That's it. That's all you need.
100%.
It's Star Wars. We're there,
You
man.
could, yeah, that was gonna say,
Like,
you could
we're
make it
there.
about
You
know what
anything. You wouldn't even need
yeah.
a trailer. You'd be like, see you on
We're-
Tuesday,
yeah,
and I'd be like,
we're
I'll line up on
there.
Monday.
Yeah, like it's Star Wars. Like, I'm going to watch it.
Anything should be the most bland version of it possible. So, like, if you saw 2 pilots getting ready for the day,
Yeah.
and like eventually putting on a rebel uniform,
That's
or
what I'm
eventually
saying.
putting on
Yeah.
like stuff where it's like it falls so at the end,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
cuts to
And
black.
you're like, wait, is this Star Wars?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So
way
you
more
can think
fun.
it's Top Gun.
Yeah.
Like, it could be like,
That's
oh,
what
this
I'm
is
saying.
like Top Gun.
Fucking bait and
But then
switch me in a
boom.
trailer.
Yeah.
Yes,
Because I just want to have my mind blown. I don't want any insight into what to expect. I want to like scratch that itch in my brain that always wants more Star Wars and
that's
always
what I
wants
mean.
to be
And-
surprised and enthralled with
And
it.
the original Star Wars came out where it's like, you already know these guys. Come and see this adventure. And you're like, yeah.
yeah.
No,
like, you
I
know
agree.
what I mean?
agree.
Like, and we got to get more to that. I'm not saying that development is bad, but the novelty of Star Wars is like fucking Star Wars. Just give us lightsabers, ships, whatever, a
but
good story,
don't pull a
and just do it.
lightsaber in the trailer and then be like, oh yeah, that's,
Right.
I've seen that.
That's
I
why
have one. Fuck you.
I'm going to be honest with you, even more so than the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, I'm really excited for the Ahsoka Tano show.
Yes.
I
Wow.
am so
Yeah.
excited.
Are you more
for
excited
that.
now that you know Anakin's back for it?
So that
bit.
one makes more sense than the Obi-Wan.
Does it?
Well, because Ahsoka Tano, I believe, is going to be more flashbacks or them talking in the Force. But Obi-Wan, for me, the beef with Obi-Wan is the way that he says it.
You should just have a
In A
pepperoni
New
stick
Hope.
for a show, not beef. The show
the
isn't
way-
even out yet.
But the
How
way
do you
he
have
says
beef?
it for A New Hope is that they haven't seen each other in a long time.
Okay.
And
That's
I
what I hope.
assume that would mean since fucking I cut him down and he was left to die, not, 10 years later we met up a little bit and then it got weird and then we broke up for a bit and then
This
we
is
had our final showdown.
what they're going to show you in these 6 magnificent episodes are going to be what causes the story to unfold in New Hope. The reason that he cuts
I
him
hope so.
down. Because
I do.
they left each other with him being put back together like a Lego bot
Yeah.
and angry as fuck. And that's it. That's their last interaction together.
Right.
So
Right.
this will be the next time that they see each other where they're, I love it when it talks. I don't know if
The
you
lightsaber
can hear
went
that,
off.
listener.
That's
I told her
cool.
this earlier. Sometimes the lightsaber
That's
will talk when the
cool.
batteries are in it.
It knows we're talking about it.
It does. Yeah. That's what's fucking freaky.
I guess because my brain always thought A New Hope was their first time meeting, but I guess there was nothing indicating that.
You
It just said,
never.
I
Never.
haven't felt this presence in a long time. But that can mean
Exactly.
anything."
And now we can be like 50 years?
Right.
70 years?
I just hope that it's not like. I just hope it's not Hayden Christensen showing up and everyone being like, "Oh, he needed money." Do you know what I mean?
Well,
like, I
it's
hope
gonna
it's
be
like
as-
cool.
It's going to be as old as Obi-Wan has aged and Hayden has aged because
Yeah.
that's they were young when they did it.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
So
And I like that. Don't get me wrong. And I love, like, after Rogue One, I was like, Gareth Edwards, please just do. I would love to see a movie or even just a 8-episode show or whatever of Darth Vader's reign between, between Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, and A New Hope.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 'cause
That
you-
20 years of him being an asshole going around the galaxy, I would love to see some of that.
that would make the last 4 minutes of Rogue One
Oh.
even more brutal because
Oh.
that's the first time you ever saw Vader like chop shit up.
Yeah, and actually be like, whoa!
Yeah, really understand the terror he inflicted
Yeah,
would be
right,
really interesting.
Right.
Like
So
just seeing a choke in New Hope, you're like, nah, you're
right,
evil,
but, like,
like
Rogue One, and that's what I mean is even the opening of Force Awakens, what was so badass about Kylo Ren was even that opening of that first anything of Kylo Ren, he stops a blast. We've never seen someone do that.
Yeah.
And he forgets about it. He's not holding it there the whole
No
time.
big fucking
it's
deal.
just still there.
We are
and I think
we
Poe
are-
even looks at it at one point, and it's not until he's in the ship that it goes.
We are
Right?
dangerously circling another Ryan Johnson conversation.
Yeah,
and
oh
I put
God.
a fucking plug in that, and I'm not pulling the
That's why
drain.
I'm saying just Force Awakens. Yeah,
JJ
no.
just fucking.
But what I'm
whatever.
saying is I would love to see, because now we know that Vader was more turmoil than Emperor.
Yeah.
He was more consumed with his
Fuck
own
around and
hate
find out.
than what the Emperor was, which was like, right? So it's cool. Like, I would love to see that. And just, that scene in Rogue One is still probably one of my all-time favorite Star Wars scenes ever.
All right. I gotta. We get so much here. I gotta mark it. So mark that fucker. Listener,
Boba
let
Fett,
us-
we're excited.
Boba Fett.
Heck yeah.
Fucking Boba
And it's
Fett.
what? First episode is just before the end of the year, I believe.
I think we should go back to what people used to do in the BC times before COVID, where people had watch parties. We should always watch it here or watch it at somebody's house.
I would love that. That would be
Thing is, I
awesome.
want to get fucked up enough when I watch it that I won't be able to drive home after.
That's fine. We'll come to you.
That is
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's fine.
There you
Just
go.
Have a spread. I'll bring food.
Yeah.
Someplace to spread it out.
Excellent.
Love it.
All right. So second trailer, less exciting, less. Lots of everybody wanted us to know how much fucking Marvel this was.
Yeah.
So Marvel.
The Morbius trailer.
Yeah.
We'll start with you, Charles, because I'm
laughs.
You know what? No, I think this one's gonna be quick, and then we get into the meat and potatoes of this shit. But like, I said you go first, so I'll shut the fuck up.
Okay. Honestly, my expectations are fucking zero. Like, I like Morbius from Spider-Man, but again, it's
Wait,
'cause
did you know that it was from Spider-Man? I wasn't sure if we. Did you catch
Far
that from the
From
trailer?
Home. Far From Home. No Way Home. Home
you know?
everything.
Yeah.
No, like,
Spider.
Home
I
away
know.
from
Yeah.
home.
so
Homeward bound. The Incredible Journey.
I guess my only real Morbius anything is with Spider-Man, so the idea of just seeing Morbius, I don't care. I don't care. The trailer was like, wow, he's flying in front of a train. I don't know what the fuck that means.
He's screaming at a bat cave. Looks
I
very
will
reminiscent of
say-
another movie about a guy named Batman.
The like aesthetic they show at the end, I don't know if that's the final CGI or whatever. It doesn't look bad. It
For
looks,
Sony, it looks good.
it looks not bad. But this is my issue. You said it right there. Is anything that is Sony led, like, and I mean Sony is in the driver's seat, I just stay quiet until I watch it, because Sony has really fucked me over and disappointed me so many times. MCU led, with Sony's permission, different story.
I haven't
It's
liked
gold.
Sony since they wouldn't give me warranty on my Discman. So that tells you how much I haven't liked Sony.
Sony is king of the, you have 1 year warranty. Okay, I got it 2 days ago.
Yeah.
No.
It was 1 year,
Yeah.
1 year, 352 days ago.
Beyond.
It feels like they're aware of that though, because they really, they underplayed the Sony and upplayed the Marvel
Yeah.
universe part of
Yeah.
that trailer. So they really are trying to capitalize on the good vibes that people have towards Marvel.
Which
And, like-
is like, we know that though, because you know
Yes.
why we know that? Because Amy Pascal had a meeting with Kevin Feige one day, and Kevin Feige was like, we should do it this way. And she lost her shit and threw a sandwich at him.
Yeah, did you read that whole
I
thing?
did.
That was
Then
ridiculous.
he came back after she
That was
calmed down, and he
ridiculous.
was like, I don't want to take this from you, but I just want,
I don't want you to ruin it.
yeah, like it
And
was,
you're ruining it.
it was about like, here's a take, and it seems that they're now like ready to leave the nest.
Yes.
Sony wants to go spread their
I think
wings,
what
and
they're-
they're gonna nose fucking dive into a cliff from a fucking David Attenborough documentary. Like,
But they have bat sonar. They should be able to avoid the clip.
well, yeah, and they have 14 clips of
Save us, Jared Leto.
from Marvel.
From Marvel.
Marvel made
This-
this.
but, like-
we just rode their coattails.
Like, and this is the thing that's so frustrating, right? Is like, the MCU owns everything, and if a character were to make a joke like "I'm Venom," it would be at least more hilarious. Do you
It's
know
I
what
Love
mean?
You 3000.
But Sony doing it is like, it's their way of being like, "We're Sony. Remember Sony," and you're like, "Yeah, what?"
yeah, like
like-
quit. They're thirsty.
Yeah, man. But also,
They're so fucking
I know
thirsty.
for a fact, and they know too, that they have had Spider-Man for how long, and the MCU, in their short time handling Spider-Man, is giving them more money than they ever could make doing that on their own.
More money than they made the first
And
three.
it's giving them more credibility. For instance, why, like Emily said, the beginning of Morbius, it's like, from the studio that brought you Spider-Man Far From Home. And all the fucking Spider-Mans with Tom Holland. Anything Tom Holland, right?
I'm just waiting for Amy Pascal to pop up in the trailer and be like, we did Spider-Man.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, and like, I mean, you know, I just
I don't hate her, and whatever, but like it's all thirsty.
all I want to
Amy.
say is, after all of this, I hope this villain universe, because they also announced Aaron Taylor Johnson is playing Kraven the Hunter, which is fucking insane, and Kraven is a really cool character. I just hope it's all worth it, because knowing Sony, they're doing all this, and then the first movie where Spider-Man's thrown into it, it's going to be confusing, and then they'll be like, fine, it's canceled for everyone now.
You didn't
Never
like it,
mind.
you don't get any more.
Right, and they make it seem like everyone's like, no, but everyone's like, stop doing this.
Please stop fucking
Yeah,
up
like,
shit.
just stop it. Like, we all told you this was a bad idea.
Because I love a good anti-hero movie. I love understanding the backstory of a villain, and I would love the concept of, once I have empathy for that villain, throwing that villain in with a hero,
Right,
and watching
right.
that play out.
Totally.
But not if you're gonna fuck it up.
That's what I'm saying. And like,
Yeah.
also, Sam, like, the superhero movies have proven you can do that in a movie. Like, you can do that with one movie with those characters. Like, one of my favorite stories is in Spider-Man 2, the way that they show why Doc Ock turns evil.
Absolutely.
It's really nice.
Because you
It's
maintain
really well done.
maintain understanding for
Right.
that character
and
all the way
you
through.
feel bad for
Yeah.
him until you don't, but at least it's there to be like, he, you know, don't get me wrong, I still do love the Joker-esque character where there is no origin story, there's no explanation, just some people like to watch the world burn. But Spider-Man's villains, but Spider-Man's villains have always been very much like, you know, there is a reason to their chaos, and usually it's that they all start off like Spider-Man.
The only difference
We're all
between
regular
Peter
people.
Parker and Doc Ock is a bad streak of luck.
That's what I mean, right? And Peter has his own. It's just Peter always finds a way to look at the bright side, and it's the idea of what if
Always
there's,
look at the bright side
Right?
of life.
But like, and then you see his villains are they don't want to.
But it just makes
They've
things
refused
way
to.
more interesting when you can think about the fact that everyone's just like one real bad turn of luck away
Right.
from being like a fucking bad guy.
Right, like
from being
being
the
the
guy
worst.
who's going up against Spider-Man.
That's what I mean.
And so that's what I like about an anti-hero for sure.
even
So okay, hang on. So Emily, are you gonna chew down some Morbius? Like,
Oh
does
yeah,
that-
yeah. No, I'll absolutely watch it.
Yeah.
I'll
sure
watch
I
it,
will,
and I'll
too.
watch it with an open mind. I come from the generation that grew up watching, Buffy the Vampire Slayer and stuff. So I'm already like
Oh,
in
my
a
parents would love
headspace.
you.
I'm already in the headspace for vampires. I'm ready for that. And a good scary vampire, not like a sparkly vampire. So,
Sorry, Edward.
yeah.
Yeah,
I grew up reading like Interview with a Vampire and stuff like that. And
I hope this movie is like the trailer does.
Yeah.
Make it look dark.
Yeah.
I hope it is, because they make it look like how it should, which is if this is a human fucking vampire,
Yeah.
should be slashing.
Well, it's a reverse
And
biting,
confusing too,
right?
like because I like the dichotomy of being like a good guy who wants to help people.
Well,
and
it's
then
like a Hulk.
needing, yeah,
Right, it's like a Hulk dynamic, right? Like a little bit more of a vicious one.
I'm
but
a
it's like
doctor,
Hulk.
but don't get too close.
Right, I wanna
I'll
help
drink
people.
your blood.
yeah, shades of gray. So I'm
Yeah.
interested, and
Yeah.
it's got potential. It,
It
also
does.
has the potential to
It
be a total
does.
fucking flop. But I'm willing to watch a bad movie just as much as I'm willing to watch a good movie.
Yeah, you know what? At this point, for every Morbius, there's at least 7 good MCU movies. So
For
it's
every
like, fine.
wait, like Venom, like Spider-Man.
Venom,
Yeah.
Venom.
I still have to see the new Venom one.
Eddie,
I hate
feed me,
that.
Eddie.
I
I don't
hate
want
that.
chickens or chocolate.
I hate that it's the Cookie Monster. It drives me
It's
nuts.
not. It's Tom Hardy.
I know, but it's him doing the Cookie Monster.
Oh yeah,
It's horrible.
I mean, whatever.
It's
But like
horrible.
but then when he goes and bites somebody's head off, you forget the Cookie Monster instantly.
So stupid.
My take on Morbius, I think Sony has one colorist because everything looks the fucking same.
Yes.
Yeah, it definitely is from the same universe. That's for sure.
Like it looks the same as Venom, but
That's
at the
why when he had that line, it drove me nuts.
like it's like, oh hey, we found the right color spectrum. Like
Yeah,
make
yeah.
it different. Don't just take the greens from Venom movie and make the.
also-
Definitely not something you're watching in the daytime with light in the outside window because you'll never see a single
like-
feature
Yeah.
going on.
I don't know who because Sony has a look like Marvel has a look just as much as
It's
Sony has a
Underworld.
look.
They made Underworld,
Yes,
and they're
that's
like,
it.
this.
That's it.
This is everything Sony now is this.
It's Van
like,
Helsing.
I
It's-
love
it's-
Underworld, don't get me wrong, but it looks like Underworld.
Yeah.
Morbius
No,
looks same creative direction, Underworld totally.
So right there, I'm like different character, but same world. So much, in fact, that you're willing to anchor in the actual look of it to make me not forget, and then use Venom in it.
This is the main thing that gets me confused too. And I've only seen the first Venom movie, but they're all anti-heroes. I get it. The idea in these movies is we're cheering for them because they're still fighting something that's still worse than they are. Yes, I get it. But
which is an easy fix down the line.
But what the fuck happens when Spider-Man's involved? Like, what are they doing that's so much worse than Spider-Man
that's
needs
kind
to
of what
show
I'm saying.
up
I'm looking
and be
for.
like, hey,
but that's where they break
right?
bad. That's where they break
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
Or who knows, right? That's what I'm thinking. I'm looking forward to is once I understand a character and their motivations, it'll
Right.
be interesting to see how they're juxtaposed
Right.
with the like not shades of gray good guy.
Yeah.
So
and Tom definitely needs to be like Peter, I should say.
Peter
needs to be older to fight these guys. Like Venom alone would literally bite his head off.
Yeah.
Right? So he needs to be a little bit more seasoned to know how he would deal with a symbiote and keep Eddie alive, because that's what Peter would do.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? You
Right?
should watch Venom 2 then, because that's part of the story.
Interesting.
Like Eddie and Venom need therapy at one point, and then they break up.
But see,
But then they find each other again, and it's like any good.
when they break
Hero's
up,
journey.
does he go on to Peter?
No.
Of course not.
No,
because
no.
that would be too good.
That's-
Let's not make the fans too happy.
That's too
You know what's
expensive.
really annoying too is Sony owns all of it. Like Sony is stopping Sony from bringing Spider-Man into it. It's not like they have to ask another studio like fucking Marvel did. They're stopping themselves, so I don't get it. I
Probably
don't
because
get
they're
it.
scared to get it wrong.
But who had the contract for Holland? Not Sony.
It's true.
But that's the thing, though. It's a shared contract, meaning at any point Sony can be like, "No, he's coming into our universe now." That's why that's why Kevin Feige is like, "God damn it, just sign the fucking contract the way it's written." It's Amy that's being such an asshole, and their contract is like Sony's getting like it's like 80-20.
Okay, before Amy sues
Sorry,
you for libel.
yeah, sorry, I'm sorry.
It's
It just
fine.
drives me-
Sorry, Amy.
I'm just
Come on the
looking-
show,
I'm
please.
just looking out for your wallet. Yeah, have a debate with us about this shit.
Yeah,
Fly to
what is
Winnipeg,
going on?
Leave your fucking studio office in Burbank and get the fuck up here.
Leave Spider-Man alone. I'm like that close to making a video about that.
Okay, well, that's enough of that because it's going to be what it is. And
Yeah.
and if it isn't, then it
As long
isn't,
as the
then-
MCU is alive and still can do Spider-Man, I'm okay.
Yeah. All right. Mark it, Dano. Book
Bam.
'em, Dano.
Got it.
All right. So first, like outside real world, fake world question was inspired by the Free Britney movement. Surprisingly, I've seen a Free Britney documentary. I don't know
Yeah,
where
there's a
I didn't
lot
know
of them.
where they freed her and what they were freeing her of, but I know
There's a couple out there now.
There
right?
are.
Free
They're
Britney and
everywhere.
Started
Britney
with
versus
one, and
Spears.
there's like a bunch.
yeah.
Now,
And I think the Britney's jumping over a pile of rocks at some point. Is that the wrong Free
I
Britney?
want that shirt.
Is that free-
Britney.
is
I
that-
want that shirt.
Is that Free Willy?
Oh my god.
We should make that shirt.
Just like, do you guys follow any Britney Spears stuff on social media or anything? Like, follow her on Instagram?
Only by
or-
proxy because Shauna
I
does, but
I
I
don't know. Like I tried
It's just-
to, but it made me sad.
It's really interesting.
it
Like
makes me
sometimes
sad.
it seems like there's a lot of like linear,
Right.
coherent thoughts, and
Right.
other times it just seems like it's way off the rails. And so
You're telling me that her social media is proof enough that she shouldn't have gotten out from this?
no, definitely not.
No one deserves to be like,
yeah.
Yeah,
but
like, she
but
was
I
under lock
definitely
and
do
key.
think that if
she's going through a lot.
it's interesting, there's a whole bunch of fan theories out there about like why her social media is so crazy, and that maybe it's kind of code, or she's trying
pleas for
to
help
she's trying to
and
plead
stuff.
for help,
Yeah.
or it could just be like to me it just seems like stream of consciousness ranting. So
Yeah,
either
I
way,
see that. That's what I see.
Yeah.
I just see someone who's like chipper one day and then like give me my phone.
Well,
I
and
need to make
again,
something
and if this conservatorship is doing what she says it is, it makes sense that her social media behavior might
she's
be a little
coloring
erratic.
inside the lines of
It
what
might
she
be a
could
little
do,
erratic,
yeah.
right? Like one day she's probably like, fuck yeah. And like, yeah, it makes sense why someday she's like, fuck everything.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Right? Like this poor woman probably like, yeah, like she has not been able to do anything on her own.
No, it brings into question like how you could ever possibly hope to have any semblance of a normal life when you've been in the spotlight since you were a child.
See, I'm interested.
Yeah.
I'm interested in this because now that I know she's into trashy reality television, it's going to be very interesting to see what shit show she wants to see on the screen. So I'll kick this one off first. I picked Queen shit show, the one who said no way too many fucking times and should have gone. I want to see Amy Winehouse's bio. I want to see like because this whole idea is like the Free Britney story. Apparently, she's shopping. I don't know who she's shopping to, but the docu-series or the TLC version of this, or like the Dustin Diamond, after-school special might come out before an actual story. But if we were to take anybody else's whose story has been so public and in the eye and make their biopic, because, watching Elton or watching Queen, right?
Yeah.
Watching the Freddie Mercury one, like those ones, they held back on all of the juicy stuff. Sacha Baron Cohen left the Freddie Mercury one because
it was garbage.
Well, it's because
Scratching the surface.
Yeah,
Yep.
right.
Oh my god, the way
I
that
think-
they showed that he was gay was to me. I'm a straight man and I was offended by it.
Yeah,
It
well,
was,
no, but they
it was
really
ridiculous.
They wanted to get into some really dark stuff that Mercury was in, and like, yes, we all want to see that, and yes, we're all fucking looky-loos, but at the same time, there's got to be something to it, which is why I say Amy Winehouse, because equally as talented as she was addicted to drugs, like and it would be interesting to see, because we were only given the paparazzi's lens of this woman going crazy, but this is the result, right?
Yeah.
So Britney survived it. Fucking way to go. Like, as batshit crazy as she was, I don't think she ever fucking got over the shaved head. Like, they just buried that, right? She was such a moneymaker.
I think that's what a
buried it.
conservatorship is like, okay, honey, you're crazy, but we're going to lock up the crazy, but you're still making us money. Because the dad was like, to her, make me money.
Do you know what?
right?
The more
Like-
I learn about that, the more that actually seems extremely sane to me. If someone is saying, I control every aspect of you, I control what you look like, I control what you do, then one thing, and you find one thing that's in your control, and you're like, well, I'm going to shave my head. And that to me doesn't even
that would
seem
be
crazy.
yeah, that'd be liberating.
That just seems like a fuck you to the person who's
right.
trying to control you. And so I
think
used to
you're-
think it was
yeah.
crazy, but now I think it's a perfectly logical sequence of events.
Let's be honest here. Of all things in America that a person can do when they're having a mental break, she shaved her fucking head.
Yeah, and the world went crazy.
And hit a car with an umbrella.
Yeah.
With an umbrella. Not ran over an umbrella. She hit the car with her umbrella.
Yeah, she didn't Caitlyn Jenner somebody.
Like, how about, like, I'm sorry, but, like, you hear stories all the time in America about a guy, like the guy who shot up that Asian spa. He's like, I think that what they're doing there, giving rub and tugs, is destroying America. I'm going to go grab a gun and kill a random...
Wow, that's such
Carrie
a...
but do you know what I mean?
Underwood has a song about keying a car just because somebody cheated, right?
Like,
Yeah,
do you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, and like, that's the thing is, I'm like, this woman shaved, like, if anything, I feel sorry that she had to shave her head for people to at least listen, and then they didn't listen. They just used it to paint another, like, bottom line is, if, like, Kanye, last year, ranted in the middle of a public square, whatever, and even ranted about how he wanted his daughter aborted, who she's eventually going to see this. Okay, and he did that and nothing. Nobody did shit. You're telling me if Britney didn't go to a public square and went, hey, I hate Kevin Federline, I wish I aborted my kids, what do you think would happen to her?
Yeah, she'd be locked up for the
Yeah.
rest
Right.
of her life.
Yeah.
Now it'd be like, hey, guess what? You're in another conservative ship and it's going down the bloodline.
Sorry,
like,
this-
it's just
yeah,
going to keep
yeah,
going down
yeah,
your
yeah,
bloodline.
yeah.
Right? Like, do you know what I mean? So there's another huge factor that because she's a woman, it's extra shit on.
I think that
Right?
you
Like,
hit on a point there that
That's
like
a huge thing.
Yeah, yeah.
that
Because,
we
like, Michael Jackson literally draped a baby over a balcony, and everyone's like, what a weirdo.
Okay, so,
weird.
all right,
Britney even
hang on.
said, sometimes I want to drape my kid over a balcony. Kid's gone.
Is
Yeah.
that one that
Kid's
should...
gone.
Is that one that should be?
what?
Like the Michael Jackson biopic?
All
What
I can
about
say,
that?
okay, this is, and I again, if this is bad of me to say, you
No,
don't
no,
have
no,
to
no,
put it.
whatever.
I've had this conversation with Claudia, and all I said was, do you get one actor to play both races, or do you get two actors?
I'm
being honest,
No, you
though.
are. No,
I'm
that's
being honest.
No, okay.
Yeah.
No, there's
How
nothing
do you
wrong
do
with
this?
that. Because
Ralph Fiennes, not Ralph Fiennes, Joseph Fiennes
I know that.
played Michael Jackson in a movie, and then they fucking freaked out because he's white.
yeah.
But he is. But when he played Michael Jackson in that part in his life, it was in the 90s. Michael Jackson was white as fuck. He was a white woman in the 90s.
You are
I'm
not-
sorry, but he was a white woman.
You are not. Well, I don't know about the woman thing,
But
but
you
you're
know what I
not
mean?
wrong
Like,
about the white skin
come
thing.
on.
Like, no, it's because that's.
So what do
okay.
they do?
Like, well, yeah, you do it both
I think
ways.
you have two actors.
You have
man.
two act-
I'm sorry, but I think that's the only way people are going to be happy.
You totally have two actors.
Otherwise, you Tropic Thunder it, and no one liked that.
Well, we weren't evolved
I'm sorry.
at the
There were
time.
people who didn't like Tropic
I
Thunder.
mean, well, now,
sorry.
now.
Okay, now, but what are you
talking?
What are you talking about? That's the worst part of Tropic Thunder now, because yes, we all know you couldn't make
You
Tropic
get Robert
Thunder
Downey
today.
Jr. playing Australia and play Michael Jackson. No, but what I'm saying
I just
is
thought you were
like,
talking about the full R line.
Well, I mean, obviously they're not going to make an actor go blackface.
no,
Obviously.
no, you.
But what do you do?
But you find Justin Trudeau. Then.
yeah, yeah. You just get
doesn't
someone
seem
that
to mind.
commits. You just get someone that commits.
Right.
No, but what I
It's
mean
a
is
product
like,
of the time. Come on.
what do we do? Like, that's a tough one. Like,
Yeah.
that's my only thing. And I've had this conversation with Claudia, and I'm like, what do we do here?
I think there's a lot of things that would make it tough to do a Michael Jackson biopic because
Even the
there's-
subject matter.
Yeah, even the subject matter because
Right.
there's still people who are very divided. Like no matter what we talk about, all this belief survivors and stuff, there's still a very large portion of Michael Jackson fans who are staunch defenders of
Yes.
Yeah.
of the singer.
They just
And
don't
so
want to believe it.
that just don't wanna believe
Spotify's
it.
one of
Yeah.
them. They
Yeah.
still play him.
They still play him, yeah. And
I'm very much like, again, this is a whole other conversation too, because when I look at Michael Jackson, I try to just look at musician music.
Okay, well then let's jump back to
The product that he
okay,
made.
then what parts of that, without getting too triggerish, because that's not the Real Debaters brand. We don't want to trigger anybody, unless it makes you watch one of our clips. But what parts do you put in that movie then? Like, do you put
like his childhood, growing up with like Jackson 5.
It
Yeah.
depends on the story you want to tell. Do you want to tell the story of
Lisa
the guy
Marie
that just
Presley.
made the music, or do you want to tell the story of that man that was not like who was the man behind the music? I
Yeah.
guess. Right, because those are two.
not the man in the mirror, the
very-
man with the hand? I'm
Well,
not
there-
making that joke. That joke.
But that would be the name of the movie, The Man in the,
Man in the
Mirror.
Mirror,
I
for
think
sure.
it just writes
yeah.
itself
Yeah,
at that
no,
point,
it does.
right?
That, or black or
but,
white.
But that's
Hey, come
well,
on.
that could be
that's
that could be
question.
the. You know what I was even saying? I told Claudia is like the marketing for it, the poster. Remember those hologram posters where you'd walk by and it would be
Oh
like,
my God.
So it'd be like the white and then and it would have the two actor names.
That's
on it.
okay.
So what's stopping you, Charles?
Yeah, you just need financing.
Oh God,
Who's
yeah.
gonna help you make that
Yeah.
film?
Yeah,
Hit him up.
Joe Jackson, I think, passed away already. Someone. Where's what's her face? Latoya.
Latoya?
Where's Latoya?
I don't know.
I
Still
saw
live.
Janet Jackson not that long ago.
She
Yeah.
is a kid. She's busy. She
She
doesn't give
had
a
a
fuck.
kid at like 53.
I know,
Yeah.
man.
Man, she's
That's why I'm
amazing.
saying she doesn't give a fuck. She's busy, man.
Stem cells are wrong, but give a woman a kid at 53 years old,
Holy
and that's
fuck.
not causing a problem for
Holy
both the
fuck.
kid and the woman.
Yeah.
Like,
You know what? I'm willing to go on the line and say when I saw her perform and like the ability that she had to dance and perform, I'm guessing she's
Kills
in
it.
tip top physical shape to
For
have
sure.
give birth to a kid. I'm not a
Totally.
doctor,
Yeah.
but she's ready.
Yeah.
But
It's
yeah,
fine.
Janet Jackson 50 is not a regular 50.
No, I think she was more
Tell him
more physically equipped to have a kid at
Right.
53 than I was at 23.
Well, and
Like,
let's be honest, she wouldn't have done it if she knew she couldn't.
okay,
Right?
before,
Like-
before
Sorry.
we mark this out,
Sorry, but
you,
yeah.
you brought Michael Jackson. I brought
Yes,
Amy Winehouse.
Yes.
What shit show would you like to see?
Robert Downey Jr.
Oh,
No
wow!
question.
Great
no
one.
question. This
Great one.
overdone.
Oh,
The women
yes.
stories are overdone in Hollywood. We hear all about the crazy ladies and like all the things that they've gone through and whatever. But Robert Downey Jr. had a real, honest to God, what people thought was going to be career-ending
Totally.
drug problem.
Totally.
And he managed to go from being one of the biggest assholes in Hollywood to going through rehab, kicking his drug
There's
habit.
a redemption story.
A
in
redemption
there.
story.
It's
to,
the
to
redemption
to
story,
the biggest,
man.
I would say the biggest comeback in Hollywood. Like he is exceptionally famous.
Oh, this is
He literally got the final snap, man.
Yeah, the final
Like-
snap he is at this point what brought about the MCU universe as we
Yeah.
know it now. And I just think from all reports, he went from being a giant asshole to being one of the nicest guys.
He's like what you want. Like when
Yeah.
you go to rehab, he's what you want to come out.
Yeah, and I just
Yeah.
and he's not like a dick about it. He's
No.
not like condescending about it.
No.
He's open about his journey, and I think that would be such an interesting story because people really and truly thought if you ask someone from like my parents' generation if they thought Robert Downey Jr. was going to make a comeback, they would have laughed you like out of the
But like,
room.
okay, but here's the thing though. Like, we know very little. I have an article somewhere I should try to find. It was in Rolling Stone, and it was talking about how he was doing black tar heroin with Jack Nicholson when he was 14 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he just was a fucking machine, but he was a machine for Chaplin. Like, that people forget that even though,
performance
like,
is
his
incredible.
performances Never faltered.
Never.
And
No.
how old
Never
is he?
know, but
He's
he
like-
was just impossible to work with and never fucking ready when he was supposed to be.
He's like in his 20s, I think. In
Yeah.
that one, like his early 20s.
Yeah, and people in Hollywood thought he was like blacklisted forever. So.
One of my favorite Robert Downey Jr. stories is when he went on Ally McBeal. Ally McBeal
that's kind of the
was
resurrection.
his first.
Yeah.
Was his first like, hey, we're giving you another gig, and he fucked it up.
Yeah.
Because he relapsed, but he was doing coke on set. Oh yeah, so he got fired hard. Even the way they wrote him out of the show was like one of those like the cane around the neck pulled you kind of thing.
That's step
And then
one
it was
at the plate.
Iron Man. Iron Man.
No, it
was
wasn't
the,
Iron Man. It wasn't Iron Man. There's something in between Iron Man. There's a few in between Iron
I know.
Man.
Yeah, Scanner Darkly. I remember was a big thing.
Scanner
for him
Darkly
too.
was
That was
a
a
thing.
big one.
It's Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Kiss,
is
Kiss,
the-
Bang Bang
that's
is
right.
one
And
of
Val-
the best movies.
Val fought for him.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is a swan song. It's not because that's at the
And
end.
what
but,
an
like,
amazing character he plays in that movie.
Yeah.
Like, it really is so
It's
The-
kind of
indicative of like
Yeah,
it's him. Yeah,
yeah,
it's amazing.
yeah.
trying to make it in a game.
Yeah.
And Val Kilmer's so good at that movie
Yeah.
too.
Oh, nothing bad about that movie.
Oh my God! Why did you think when he throws the gun? Why did you throw my mother's gift in the river? Like, there's so
Yeah.
much humor
Yeah.
between.
Oh, yeah.
It's an odd couple. It's
Yeah.
so that's his. And I went to see that in the theater,
Oh man.
knowing
nice.
nothing about it, and
Yeah.
I fell out of my seat laughing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, some bitch is back.
Well, and Robert Downey Jr. isn't like he's the star, but it's more Val Kilmer was the one that led that movie, right?
Oh
Like,
yeah,
yeah.
It totally is.
Yeah.
But him trying to be a private detective, chopping off his finger.
Oh, it's so good.
Like, it's just folly after folly. But I think that's when Hollywood was like, oh, okay, this has a budget. This is a
Yeah.
studio production.
Yeah.
This is something that's this is 4 quadrants, right?
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah,
under
yeah,
an
yeah.
over 25 male female.
Yeah.
And it'll do well because it's got Val Kilmer, right? It's
Yeah,
got
yeah,
Batman
yeah.
nipples. So you're
yeah.
checking boxes as a financier, but that was what got him Iron Man, I think, because he was probably clean on sets
Yeah.
and was trustworthy and whatever. And then Kevin Feige just banking on Iron Man, like,
And how
that's-
amazing, right? How amazing of like a skyrocket to.
and that's what you put in the film
Comeback,
because
yeah.
it's a movie about an actor who's made movies that we've all seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to see him do a portion on Chaplin and then a portion as he's younger coming up under
And
his
he got
father, and,
nominated
like,
for Chaplin.
Yeah, he was
right?
never bad. Like his
Like-
acting was always exceptional. The
Yeah.
things he came out with were always great. But the interesting part is why this would be a neat biopic is because the shit behind the scenes, while he was still managing to produce what he was producing. I'd watch
wins.
that all day.
Emily wins. That's 100%. I never even thought of that. And shame on me for being like, yeah, let's do another crazy woman story. But that's Hollywood feeding me crazy woman stories and not enough crazy men stories. Like, if I think about it, I'd love to see a Philip Seymour Hoffman biopic. Right?
Charlie Sheen.
A chart. No,
Uh,
that just. We
I
can
would
just,
say
you can
Phil
watch.
Hartman was one I would. always
Yeah,
have.
that one's
But
interesting.
that's a tricky one because that's like a Robin Williams. Like you got to find a very like chameleon.
Did you see that clip I posted
Dude,
about that guy?
if they
Yeah, I know you did, yeah.
ever
He's gotta
make
be
a
him.
biopic,
Yeah.
it just has to be him.
Yeah.
Fuck, I can't remember
It
his
has
name.
to be.
Listener, check our.
And he's kind of
social
unknown
media.
too, which I love. That's
He's
how
just
it
a
should be.
comedian who's doing
Yeah.
shit on YouTube. There's a clip on our page of a guy doing a test footage
Yeah,
of him
like a
telling
screen test.
who should be hired. He should be hired to do Robin Williams.
Yeah,
And it's the moment he finds out that Belushi dies. And it's
Yeah.
like a 5-minute scene.
and he's
it's-
he's on set filming. He's gonna go film Mork and
He's
Mindy.
doing Mark and Mindy, yeah.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
the guy's,
unreal.
the voice is just so
Well,
fucking
and he's so
freaky.
smart because he doesn't just show like I get what he's saying, and I don't mean to say it like this. Anybody can do funny Robin Williams, which
Yeah.
not anybody can do, but those are the ones that you're going to expect to know how to do right away. But it's the real Robin Williams. It's the Robin Williams between the comedy,
Yeah,
and he fucking nailed that.
he did.
Like it was scary.
Sorry for the fart earlier.
It gives
Absolutely.
mad chills. It
Anyways.
gives mad chills.
Emily gets an imaginary point.
Well, thank you.
Because-
And you know what? That's what Tiffany was talking about. Getting
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
female
yeah,
perspective
yeah,
on
yeah,
this.
yeah,
There you go.
'cause
Totally.
So Tiffany,
Totally.
you fucking get a point
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Totally.
Give my imaginary point to Tiffany.
Oh, can I just say, speaking of this just popped in my head just quickly with the female, Tanya. I
Oh,
love.
yeah.
I'm
that
a
was-
huge fan
that
of
was
Tanya
good.
Harding's story.
Yep.
Like
Tanya
even,
Harding's story, not.
even before the
Who's
pandemic.
we don't even know the name of the woman she hit. That's
Oh
how
no, I
important
do.
she is.
What's
Nancy
her
Kerrigan.
name? Yeah,
Nancy Kerrigan, Tanya Harding. Yeah.
So but even before the pandemic, I was hard into 30 for 30 documentaries. Like, I'm not a huge sports guy, but I love me a good doc.
Yeah.
And athletes have some incredible documentaries,
Absolutely.
like incredible stories and whatnot. Tanya Harding, I was just so fascinated, especially because it happened when we were really young.
Yeah.
So I always remembered everyone saying pulling a Harding and something with a crowbar, but I never fully understood it. And then when you actually understood what the fuck happened, the fact that that actually happened, insanity.
And that Bucky was there for it.
And then, dude, he is so good in that movie.
Sebastian Stan is the shit in
He's
that
amazing.
movie.
But that movie was great. That was, and speaking of, and Tanya Harding now, like seeing her in interviews and everything, she is one fucking boss bitch, man. I don't care what anyone says.
Didn't she
But
do
that
like Dancing
woman
with
is
the Stars
tough.
or something?
She did, man.
Yeah.
You know,
She did.
There's a few women that are like that. One that really pops into my mind when I think about people who the media painted in one way and actually are another way is why can't I think of her name right now? The one who sucked the dick of the president.
Oh, Monica Lewinsky.
Monica Lewinsky. Monica
Yeah.
Lewinsky is a queen.
Talk about what you're known for.
She's a boss, man.
She is a boss.
Totally.
And she like really leans into like the nonsense around her. When you hear her talk and she talks about like what actually happened,
Yeah.
you finally understand like this is, of course, she had no choice. Like when you're in a position like this and the fucking president of the United States of America says suck my dick, what are you gonna
Yeah.
say? Like, no thank you?
Yeah.
And then you get fired or maybe just offed.
Yeah.
And not only that, but like
I don't think they were offing people yet.
well,
I mean, they-
Bill, let's just say what Bill wanted. Bill
yeah,
got.
well, Bill, yeah, you don't say no to Bill Clinton. But it was just, and it's just interesting. Like, someone tweeted something like, you never say no to an internship because it always helps to improve your career. And she'll tweet back like, oh boy, do I ever have a story for you?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
So it just reminded me when you said Tanya
Well,
Harding, the
no,
way
and
that
you know
the
what?
I
media.
can, you know what? I can
Totally.
I can bookend that for you, Emily, because me and Shauna watched the first episode of American
and
Crime Story.
How is it?
Ooh.
So Edie, what's her name? Edie.
Yeah, Jonah Hill's sister.
Jonah Hill's sister.
Yeah,
She's-
she's Monica, right?
She's great as Monica.
Yeah, I heard.
I listened to her episode on Dax.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
She's great.
Yeah. She book
Sarah
smart. She
Paulson.
was so good
Sarah
at book
Paulson
smart.
plays Linda Tripp.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I did not know that Linda Tripp was angry that she got fucked out of her position
Yeah.
when Bill Clinton came in.
Yeah, man.
And then met Monica Lewinsky.
Yeah.
And then Monica
she
told
was
Linda
the whole
Tripp.
one that was like, hey, can you put that on audio tape
Yes,
for me?
yes.
Yeah.
I thought Monica
Oh, yeah.
Lewinsky came out on her own.
No,
she
no,
was
no,
used
no.
as a fucking piece
Linda
of
was the one
bait.
that was
Yep.
like, as soon as she found out this could take down Bill, she was like, you're a pawn in my game.
Totally didn't know that.
100%, dude.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All I can say
I mean,
is
coots to her,
yeah,
but 100%.
Sarah
yeah.
Paulson is great as
And she
Linda
plays
Tripp.
it, yeah.
But
How's Clive?
well, you don't see. I've only
Not
watched one
yet?
episode,
Okay.
but they Skywalkered Clive.
Yeah.
So it's right at the end. And then it's Monica hanging out at home or whatever, and she's just had a conversation with Tripp about how she's in love with someone and hopes it can go somewhere. And then all of a sudden she gets a phone call in the next scene, and she's like, "Hi, honey," and then it's Clive.
Get out of here.
Oh my
And
gosh.
it's a long shot coming around on a dolly, like just doing the full side. So it starts at the back of his head as
Yeah.
he's talking.
Yeah.
And as the scene closes and gets to the front, they close just as you see him. He's got the nose as the prosthetic.
Yeah,
and he's
eh?
like,
Wow.
Hey, baby. Like that's not a Bill Clinton impression at all. But like he's got that Arkansas accent down pat.
Wow, eh?
So we've got the other 4 ready to go. I just haven't we haven't bothered to do it yet. But
Shit.
I'm gonna check that one
I'm
out, too.
totally going to check it out.
yeah, no, it's
I love it.
It's good.
And I'm a huge Clive Owen fan. I really
Yes,
like him. I want
I-
to see him. My dream for him, Bond villain. I think he would be
I think he'd be a fantastic Bond villain.
I think he'd be great.
Remind me later to talk to you about a movie that if I talk to you about now, we'll just go. way too
yeah,
fucking
it'll just take
long.
over. Yeah.
I spent the weekend watching Bond movies, classic
Oh,
Bond movies.
So good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which one
You're
is
from
which
this
one?
money,
If you had to
probably.
pick one or a few, what would you say your favorite?
I think
are?
Octopussy's my favorite.
Great one.
I really,
Great one.
really like it. You know,
Thunderball. Thunderball. one of
Thunderball
the
was
ori-
good.
What
Yeah,
I like
like-
about
the original?
Octopussy too is the whole agency and everything. The universe that Octopussy has is insane.
Yeah, I know it's great.
It's
and
awesome.
The like whole island of ladies. I like Roger Moore. So
Yeah,
the
Roger Moore
the
is
Spy Who
very-
Loved Me. I thought was really really good. I really
Roger
enjoyed it.
Moore was the
Hang
most
on.
charming Bond.
Hang on. I've never met one of you before. Roger Moore fan. This is the first time I've ever met your kind. Where do you find your information?
What about why I like Roger Moore?
Yeah, like what is
Roger Moore's the shit.
You know what I enjoy?
Roger Moore is? I wouldn't even piss on him if he was on fire.
Are you
Well, no, I don't
serious?
like him as a person. I like him as Bond.
No, I know, but what do you like? I'm
I
trying
like
to.
his
Oh,
Bond.
I like the camp. I
Oh.
like the complete and utter nonsense that is
Yeah.
James Bond, and like how they really lean into like the physical comedy and the shitty one-liners.
Yeah.
And that
They never gave those to Connery. They always gave him to
yeah.
Moore. You're right.
Yeah,
But
and that
Connery was also, he was a cynical Bond.
yes,
That was the
yeah.
thing.
Whereas Roger Moore is goofy, but
Yeah.
he also you're not supposed to like James Bond. He's not a nice guy, right? He's not a good guy.
I think Roger Moore, when he was told, he was like, "Okay, I need you to be a spy. I need you to be
Well, and-
charming. I need you to be a womanizer." And he was like, "Womanizer, yes, I can do that.
Well,
That's
yeah.
all I will give you."
And Roger Moore was old for Bond, and
Yeah.
he's not in super big shape. Like Roger Moore and the Pierce Brosnan were the karate chop Bonds.
Yeah.
Like, judo chop. Like
Hi-ya.
when Austin Powers was making fun of Bond, it's the Roger Moore.
It's
'cause
the Roger Moore Bond, yeah.
Is the I
It's the
karate chop
Moonraker.
you
Yes,
and you're dead.
Moonraker.
Yes.
How many people does he karate chop in Moonraker?
And
they're
they just
down.
die. They fall
and
over.
they're down, man.
Okay,
They're down.
all right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair
yeah,
enough.
so that's what I like. I like the camp when I'm
You
looking.
can defend it. That's
Can't
all
yeah.
that you should have.
Moonraker's one of my faves, man.
Oh
It's
my
so
God.
ridiculous.
The first time. in my
Jaws
life.
is one of my favorite villains.
Jaws
Oh,
is
Jaws.
It's amazing.
God.
Fucking chewing down that gondola wire. It's the best. I will say the new Bond. I was a big fan.
Oh, the new Bond was amazing.
it was
loved
fantastic.
it.
Shh,
I absolutely
don't-
loved it. Oh, okay.
don't-
when you're
don't.
ready to talk about
Yes.
it,
It's
have
great.
me back. Please have me back for that.
Yes,
It's
I
great.
will. I will.
I have
I will
thoughts.
say they do have some one-liners, and they're fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Well, it's a send off.
Daniel Craig does it so good, though.
I do need you to mark this.
You know what?
segment
Yeah.
for
No
me,
one
but
does it
we need
better.
to move it on. So
No one does it better. Oh, I love
Don't.
it.
I
Oh,
I don't
Emily,
want.
you're
I
the
don't want to
best.
go down a Bond spiral. I'm not ready for that yet. I'm not ready to let go.
Diamond-
But okay, so
Diamond's our first. It's one of my favorites.
moving on. There's a few other things, and Emily was well versed on a lot of things on it, so we're gonna jump into that. Nolan, new movie alert, all about Oppenheimer. Already casted. Cillian Murphy's gonna be Oppenheimer. Robert Downey Jr.'s in it. Who's the third one that I'm forgetting?
I think they have 4. They casted a female as well.
Emily Blunt.
Emily
Emily
Blunt.
Blunt,
Oh, I
that's
didn't know
right.
about that. Okay,
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So it'll be called Oppenheimer.
So, first question: have either of you do you know much about the Manhattan Project and all that shit? Like, are you excited about this? Because this is something that is going back to Dunkirk, right? Like,
Yeah, I assume
Yes.
so. So this is World War
Dunkirk,
II.
less ocean.
less ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is World War II.
more cancer, less ocean.
Yeah.
This is
yeah.
World War II.
War
And
II.
this is what
the
they're-
development of the atom bomb.
So this is their answer to.
Well, this is the answer. This is
the answer to Pearl Harbor.
Yes, this
Okay.
is the strike back.
So I know that, and I know that it was, at least from what I read, I believe it was way more destructive than they had ever thought it would be.
Oh yeah,
Like it
Oh,
went
yeah.
way more fucked than they had ever, I don't know, put together and whatnot. Is this the one that Einstein accidentally?
no.
Gave
Well,
them-
like E equals MC squared. You know what? I'm not gonna say that I'm anything of a force of knowledge on the subject, but I don't know. Do you?
This is-
Okay.
I think this is where like the Manhattan Project is where they realized they could split an atom.
That's
Yes.
right.
Which was,
That's right.
and so they thought an atom was the smallest thing,
And then they
then they
split
were
it.
able to split it, and it caused a massive explosion. And so that's when they were able to develop this huge weapon. And so I agree. I don't know a ton about the story behind behind Dr. Oppenheimer and,
Right,
and what
right.
happened. So I am looking forward to it. And I think Christopher Nolan's first kind of biopic, right? Like I don't think he's done.
I wonder if he's
anything-
going to do it like Dunkirk. That's what I'm wondering.
Dunkirk's only
Dunkirk is like-
bio in nature. Dunkirk's more of a history.
Yeah, Dunkirk
Yeah,
is
I
a
would
history
say, like,
pick, but I
yeah.
don't think there's.
I would show Dunkirk as like a day in the war,
Well, he did.
right? Like
With
that's
three
what it
different
is.
timelines
That's
that
what
he
I mean,
fucking
right? Like
does.
that's basically what it is.
That's the one with the
right?
watch in the background the whole time, right? The tick, 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 tick.
Yes.
like-
Yeah, and it's like you
Giving
got
you an idea of what it's
Hardy
like to
in
be
the
there.
skies, those
Yes.
guys in the ship with the sniper.
Yeah. You've got
Yeah.
everybody experiencing that portion of the war
around Dunkirk.
right
around
there.
Dunkirk
Yeah.
in their timeline.
Which is really cool because Dover, where where
Dover Cliffs,
where
yeah,
the
yeah.
Dover Cliffs, I went there like right after I watched that movie, and
Oh,
so it was really
wow.
cool. I got to go down into like all the
That's
tunnels underneath, and
That's so
and
cool.
take a look, and you can actually look out and you could see Dunkirk from the cliffs. So it was
Whoa.
really really cool. And then I got engaged while I was there in Dover Castle.
That's
Yeah.
that's wicked.
Just a little fun little fact about me.
You made that happen, Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, thanks Christopher Nolan. And I guess thanks Dan as well.
Yeah, Yeah, Dan. Yeah, really.
Did all of a
Thanks,
sudden, was
Dan.
there a pincer movement? You didn't know what way you were going?
Yeah. Watch in the background.
Okay, well, if you guys want to prep for this, listener and you, there's a movie called Fat Man and Little Boy. Those are the nicknames that the Manhattan Project gave Nagasaki and Hiroshima bombs before they were
Fat Man and Little
Fat
Boy.
Man and Little Boy.
That's so funny.
John Cusack, Paul Newman
Whoa.
from the 80s, mid 80s. It is the closest film to the story of finding Oppenheimer, him being charged with what's the thing that being a communist. They thought he was a communist. They thought he was a Russian sympathizer.
Really, eh? That's what they went
how
for
it
with them.
took place in Canada, New Mexico, and California. Like basically the inception idea, pun intended, testing, then execution and flying and dropping. So it's start to finish. So if this is anything like that, because it's about Oppenheimer, then it has to be about being brought to Los Alamos, being brought in on the Manhattan Project, being told, like the idea of compartmentalization inside of CIA and secret projects, how you're in charge of the trigger, you're in charge of the explosion, you're in charge of the casement, but none of you will talk and you won't know what you're building.
Wow.
You'll just be building it.
Yeah.
If they do that, this will be a fucking masterpiece of a film.
Yeah.
Because it's him playing, like, if it's anything Dark Knight, Dunkirk, what's this first one with Guy Pearce? I never fucking remember.
Oh, Memento.
Memento.
Right? Like, if it's that sort of wispy, auteur nature to it, it's a great fucking story to explore.
Yeah, and I feel like Nolan is the kind, like, he's not just doing this because he's like, you know what I mean? He clearly has a connection. He has got an interest.
This is part of his like 5 films that he signed with Warner Brothers.
It is,
Now they just are like, whatever you want to do it. Here's your budget, right?
And it's interesting. People are developing a renewed interest in like the origin of modern warfare, I think, and so because now everything is so different than the sort of idealized version of war.
I don't care
that we
about
think
your
about.
railgun. I want to know about what it was like to stand next to like a machine gun in World War II.
Exactly, like in the trenches and stuff like that. So this is where everything sort of started to change. And I think that's really interesting because people are getting a perspective on just really how messed up the world is right now. And this is an interesting segue into like how we became the way that we are.
Well, yeah,
in terms
it is.
of the weapons that we have.
Well, there's so much attached to like every alien documentary I've ever watched that they didn't show up until that first test.
Yeah.
And it's because there's a theory, not mine, but there's a theory that we ripped a hole in time.
Yeah.
We ripped a hole in a universe with that blast.
Yeah.
And that's like Confusion Corner for the aliens. Like
yeah.
They're on the wrong
It's
fucking
like their
off-ramp.
Bermuda. It's like their Bermuda Triangle, basically.
You don't have Foo Fighters hanging around before they were UFOs, and now there's so many different things now. But like that whole idea of just the atomic race is. Like, that's why we're here. We're fucking planet's littered with them.
It's like the harbinger of how we got to where we are now. Yeah,
exactly.
You made Emily, you made a cool point about, you're definitely right. I think people more than ever are very fascinated about the beginning of warfare. But what I think it is too is that literally up until we got to the point of Apple being like, here are the new iPhones every year and here's the new technology. The most advance of technology and like real movement was war.
Came from a need to develop better, faster, more accurate weapons.
War has accelerated technology.
Up until war, this demand of I need it yesterday didn't exist.
Also, I'm not willing to concede that the development of things like a new iPhone every year is not driven by the need for better, faster, more accurate warfare currently.
Yeah. No, but I mean,
tinfoil hats, anyone?
Yeah, like
I want to do a debate about the best conspiracy theory that should be a movie, and then we'll argue.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
That'll be a fan casting. We should do that.
That's a good one. I mean, my favorite, like what I love. I don't know. Like this could start a whole other thing, but I was late to the game.
You mean we go on tangents on this show?
I was late to the game, but I saw the closer a couple days ago, and one of my favorite little outbreaks that Chappelle has in it is he goes,
tread lightly.
The government is finally showing videos of aliens? When the fuck did this start happening?
Right?
He's like, shit, man.
Yeah.
He's like, why the fuck are we talking about this more? And he's right. Like, they went from being like, no, you're an idiot, to like, okay, yeah, it's real.
Worse.
Like,
They went from no to I don't know.
yeah, I know. I don't know.
We don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, it's true. Like, yeah, it's real,
The
but we
best
don't know
radar
how.
on the planet
Yeah.
can't
So we can confirm,
keep up with these things.
We can confirm they're real. We don't know how they're real, though. But we know that they're real.
Can you imagine if Nolan did an
Like-
alien movie?
I mean,
Like picked Roswell? Did Roswell?
Roswell.
so that's what.
Oh, that
So
would
this is
be
one that
fucking crazy.
This is one that I'm really shocked. I would love a good Roswell, and I think it should be made like found footage,
I
you
love a found footage movie.
right? And
Love
I
it.
think
you want some
something
Blair
like
Witch for Roswell?
But I think with Roswell,
Paranormal
like,
Activity.
I think,
yeah.
But for me to make it as scary as possible, I think that's the way to do it, because I like the idea of it would be like, what if you just showed up on Area 51? Like, you're not going to have someone being like, and over here, this is the alien from sector blah, blah, blah.
Welcome
It's
to Area
gonna-
51.
right?
Please keep
It's
your
gonna be
hands
a
and
lot
arms
of-
inside the
right?
pod as we enjoy
That's
our
what I
guided
mean.
tour.
Like, you're not going to get that. It's going to be a lot of like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck? So I think that's how the movie should be. The whole movie should be like, you're just like tense the whole time. Like, oh my God. Oh my God. And then obviously do the paranormal stuff.
no,
Absolutely.
You know?
that'd be a fun take on it.
Totally.
Like, yeah. I
And
could-
do like even the signs, like a gimmick where you just see an alien walk by and kind of look at the camera and you're like, what the fuck?
Anybody
What
else
the
see
fuck?
that?
Yeah, like what the fuck? Was that real? Was that real? Right? Like, because like Cloverfield.
oh, Cloverfield.
I thought part of
yes.
what made Cloverfield so good was the fact that they utilized found footage.
And at the beginning, they were like, "What did you see that?
Right,
Like, what,
right.
Yeah, what was
It
And
that?"
at first you totally
it
think
was
you're
an
like-
interesting take.
Yeah, right? Like, I mean, I think for something like that, and then if they don't do it like that, if they go Hollywood, I think full on open up ship crashing.
Oh.
Ship crashing, them figuring out what the fuck to do.
Yeah.
It's Matt Damon who's the other cast member.
Matt Damon.
Oh,
Matt
yeah.
Damon.
Oh, yeah.
So Emily Blunt,
And
Matt
is this
Damon,
his
Robert
first-
Downey Jr., Cillian Murphy.
And I think Emily Blunt and him, this is their first time working with
Together,
him.
yeah,
And
I'm
Downey
pretty sure.
Jr.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cillian Murphy was just on the crashed plane in Dunkirk.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
that's
and he
right.
was Sandman.
Scarecrow.
Scarecrow,
Yeah,
sorry,
Scarecrow.
Scarecrow.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, he
So
had a
that's
really
his-
he had a great little part in The Dark Knight Rises.
yeah, in the beginning,
Yeah.
when he was
Yeah.
like trying to sell more of his drugs.
Death by Exile.
Yeah,
It was great.
that is
Great.
funny.
You can choose death or you can choose exile.
Right
I
out
choose
onto
death.
the ice.
Death by
By
exile.
exile.
Yeah, and he's so proud of it. I love that. It was great. That was a great scene.
All right, so I a couple episodes ago, I got to talk to Dean Goodine, the weapons expert, actually prop master by title, but has also done armorer work and is not an armorer by trade, but has done enough of it that he can do it, but was so strict about this. I loved it. He was like, I'm too humble. I don't want to do it. I'm not
Yeah.
good enough at doing it. So I hire somebody else who knows what they're doing, and then we work together. And I was like, that's huge of you in an industry that's all about ego.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about it as a show yet because this happened, and then we took a week off, and Comic-Con was just everything. So this is the first time we've had a chance to have a conversation about it. Emily, real guns or fake guns? What is, like, this is the argument that's happening right now, and of course, cancel culture's all over it and just wants to chew everybody apart, which muddies the fucking water. But at the end of the day, like, the practical, like, your parent. So, like, what do you do? Right? If what's the practical idea here?
So this is an interesting one for me because I can honestly tell you that I would not confidently be able to tell you the difference between a real gun and a fake gun, but that is not the case for everyone. And so I'm not particularly interested in guns. Anytime I've been near a gun, I've felt really uncomfortable. I've never fired a gun, held a gun, like maybe a BB gun. So I'm not the target audience for real guns on set. That said, I do know that I have this conversation with Dan, with my husband, and when I suggested that it was ridiculous that real guns were even used on set in the first place, he said, "Well, it would sort of bring me out of the suspended, belief, like a reality, because I
what
know
you're saying, yeah.
what real guns look like. I've been around them, I've seen them, I've been shot at by them, and so that they would take away from the."
What does your husband do?
he used to travel a lot, so he's been traveled all around the world, and he's been in.
Is your husband Roger Moore?
Yeah, actually, yeah, no.
Shot at a lot.
Shot out a lot, karate chops people.
Yeah, like Roger Moore is not dead. His name is Dan.
His name is
and he
Dan.
lives
He's
in
married to me.
Winnipeg.
No, that's why I'm so like Roger Moore. No, he's an electrician, but he traveled a lot, and he spent a lot of time in the Middle
Iraq?
East. No, well, he traveled in the Middle East, yeah. And
Oh, okay.
So he So he actually did say that he felt he would be pulled out of the enjoyment or sort of belief in a movie
I support that argument to a point.
if he was able to see that it was fake. For me, I wouldn't know the difference.
So it doesn't matter to you.
Doesn't matter to me, not in the slightest.
Now, okay, so then in the vein of straight safety.
Well, I can't. So I remember as a child thinking that it was absolutely crazy that someone died
I remember as a
on
child
the
playing
Crow.
with my six-shooter.
Yeah, no, that someone died on the set of the Crow.
Yeah, Brendan Lee died on the set of the Crow.
Right, and
yeah.
I thought I
Yeah.
remember thinking that was
Yeah.
wild, and the idea to me that a gun that was dangerous enough to kill someone would be used as a prop in a movie seemed completely out of line with my understanding of reality. And so to fast forward to now, and for me to still be surprised by that, just I guess tells me that I'm really out of touch.
Or the industry is too cheap now and is so profit driven that they paid an armorer $8,000. You can Google that. Hannah Gutierrez-Reed got $8,000 to do this, and you just go $8,000. That's a lot of money, but when you realize that Marvel makes movies for $300 million,
That's stupid.
and you're paying someone $8,000
It makes sense
to
why
be in charge of safety protocol around actual weapons.
$8,000 at 24. Yeah.
Yeah, you know
You
what?
could tell me I'm shoveling shit. I'd be like,
Yeah.
yup.
Yeah, that. But
Like-
and they also were, if we're gonna be honest, they were having the daughter of Thel Reed.
I know, and that's
Thel
another
Reed,
dumb thing.
which is trading on a name.
Yeah,
Thel
like,
Reed
that's what I
is-
mean.
is- for backstory here, Thel Reed is one of the more famous and well-known
Yeah.
armorers.
He's like a legend.
He's a legend. He was an actual like competition shooter.
But you know who else is a legend? Wayne Gretzky. Do you just go to Wayne Gretzky's kids and be like, hey, you're playing on my team?
you
'Cause your
miss 100%
dad-
of
'cause your
some of the
dad
shots
was
you don't
amazing.
take, Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah, like, because your dad was amazing. Like, it's horseshit.
His
She shoulda-
line's okay.
She should have had to audition just like everybody else probably would have.
I agree, but we're not Hollywood.
I know,
and we're
I
not
know,
driven
and
in
that's
an
how it
industry
works.
that has different rules.
And
Like,
Alec also knows that too.
I sympathize with the fact that the industry is broken in that regard. I go, yeah, you're broken.
Yeah.
You're broken.
Yeah,
You're
like
moving too
bad.
fast and you're profit driven.
And you know,
Yeah.
it probably costs less to just get a real gun than it does to develop a gun that looks enough like a real gun that it would satisfy people watching
Well,
the movie. Like,
This is
damn.
my thing. This is my whole thing.
What's your thing, buddy?
Okay.
tell us about your thing.
Show me your
30
thing.
years
No, keep
ago,
it away, but tell us about it.
30, 30 years ago, I get the argument of...
It's out of your pants. Put your thing away.
30 years ago, I get the whole argument of telling a fake gun from a real gun. But here we are, 2021. They're making fucking, like, from a nerd, someone who literally gets, a boner from seeing Superman. They can make Superman. I can promise you they can make any gun look like not only is it real, but it's actually shooting the fucking bullets.
Do you
My
know
thing
you're seeing
is
muzzle flash? Like,
the
can anybody
idea-
tell if it's fake or real?
the idea that a real gun, something that could kill someone with real ammo, is anywhere near a working environment, not a gun range, a working place, is absolutely insanity to me. I don't care what the argument is. It's just absolutely insane to me. Because that's like if I worked at a factory and next to my factory was a gun range, on my break, whatever I want to do is what I want to do. And I have a gun in my desk and I go to my gun range and I shoot at that gun range and I go back to my workplace and leave that gun on a table and somebody grabs that gun and does whatever the fuck they want. That's just as stupid to me.
Hang on. I got to ask you something more important, though. So you've got a gun, which would denote the use of a gun rack. So do you have a gun
Thus
rack?
needing a gun rack.
So glad you picked that up.
Oh, of course.
Why would you get me
I
a gun?
have-
I don't have a gun.
I
Let
don't
alone
have
many
enough
guns
to
to denote the
justify
use of a
having
gun rack.
We're get the net. No, but I think also too is my outlook. Like I don't care for guns. Like my,
Okay.
you know
All
what I'm
right,
cool
all
with.
right, all
I'm
right.
cool with like arcade, like holding those fake guns, and even my trigger,
Like
like
the
that's
Terminator
cool.
arcade
Yeah,
game?
like the Terminator arcade
Duck
game
Hunt.
and that Duck Hunt. Like that.
Do you
gets
guys know
me.
that it's a 2-player game? Because I just found that out when
Yes,
Seth
it is.
Rogen told
you
the
can
world.
You can control the ducks.
Yeah, Seth Rogen told me that. He tweeted that one day, and I
Which,
went, "You're fucking kidding me."
But yeah, I think I don't know. I just think the idea is that if they had a law in place that there was no need for a live gun or round anywhere near it, somebody would still be alive. How many people could be alive?
Okay, well,
That's all I'm saying.
I'll play devil's advocate here because I am in my middle years. I'm trying to see both sides of it. because I don't understand an anti-vaxxer, but that's another conversation.
I thought we said no triggers.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's funny though to laugh at them. But like I'm like, okay, what's your perspective on this? So I'm an actor and you give me a thing that isn't a real thing, but you want me to be a real thing. You want me to be a real character. You're paying me a lot of money to get into character, but yet you're giving me this gun that doesn't have real weight, that isn't real to begin with, that isn't giving me something to work with to create the scene. Now, I haven't told you that gun is loaded. All I'm telling you is a real gun is a real gun. And if we're trying to play make-believe and make it as real as possible, then having that real gun there gives the actor more to work with. It's like a green screen, right?
But let me say this
Hang on,
quickly.
I'm not done. On the flip side of that, though, if you're going to bring in real guns, I heard Dean say it himself. He made an electric gun for a certain movie.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah.
Modification
Yeah.
is the middle ground here, people.
Absolutely.
We are so in a world of yes or no, red or blue or white, whatever the fuck it is. There's such hard lines that have seeped into so much nonsensical shit that it's either this or this. Well, no, why can't it be both with a little bit missing from each column? Why can't we have a real gun that's modified with a stop?
Or
so
no
that
trigger.
There's or no, well, no, not even a no. You can
They
still
could
have a
literally
trigger.
CGI a
You can
fucking
take
trigger.
firing pins out.
Yeah, like
You
can
can
take out what
plug them
triggers
so
it.
that they're never
Yeah.
able to be loaded
Yeah.
with anything.
Well, that's what I don't understand is why was there even ammunition in it?
So these
There is
idiots.
they went target shooting.
Yeah. These idiots would go target shooting on their breaks next because it was in a fucking like desert. So they built a set, and then next to the set is just desert.
That
So
set's
they'd
actually
set up-
that set's always there. That's the Bonanza.
Oh, that's
set.
right. That's right.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
But
It's
next
one
to
of
it is
those, like,
fucking
famous
nothing.
ones. Yeah.
So they would set up targets and just be like, "Hey, let's kill some time." But like that's insane.
Yeah.
You're in a workplace with fake and real guns. So the other thing I want to say is
Yeah.
you made a very so this is what I will say about the acting thing. If you're a good enough actor though, you will make me believe because at Comic-Con, my friend, that hammer was on the table and you did a very
That
good
is
job.
true.
You did a very good job of convincing me that you could not lift that motherfucker up. And I knew it was fake.
Yeah, I'd picked
But
it up,
you
but I was
convinced me, sir.
It's like, oh,
So
shit,
I'm
did they
just
nail it
saying,
down?
if you're a good enough actor, my friend, like Daniel Day-Lewis doesn't need a real gun to make me believe.
No, but he does need to get tuberculosis
shooting a
to
real
make you
gun.
think he's Abraham Lincoln. So,
Right.
like,
But that's the thing. He'd only hurt himself. He wouldn't
That's
put others
true.
in danger.
that's true.
He wouldn't hurt anybody else. All I'm saying
Although
is
I'm
that
sure he berated people as what's his face on their.
I heard they had a hard time because he would go to places and eat. He would pay them with the prop money.
Oh my god.
And then a real like AD would be like, "I'm so sorry, Daniel Day-Lewis is acting again." Like, you know what I mean? He's just so funny. But what I'm saying is, again, like this motherfucker had fake money that you could probably believe was real. Like, yes, at the end of the day, though, it's a movie.
It's fake.
Like, it's fake, man. So if you're like,
But
that gun's not real,
But
you know what, man?
You
none
know,
of it is.
I know it's not real, but it has to be real enough to trick you to leave the world that you're in, so that the world you're going to is just a
And if
fantasy
you're
world.
a good enough actor, you will make me
So
believe
it-
that
yeah,
world.
it's a-
RoboCop isn't a real robot, but my God, in that movie, do I believe it?
Which one?
I believe
Which
he's
one?
real.
The reboot or the original?
First two.
Fir-
The first
okay,
two.
All right.
The first
yeah.
two are the.
So I see
are
what you're
the-
saying. It's a crutch. It's an actor crutch. It's like Eminem being like, Will Smith don't gonna cuss his rap to sell
Well,
records. Well, I do, so fuck him.
There
fuck
you
you
go.
too.
There you
But-
go.
but
or a
like,
rapper saying,
okay.
or an MC saying without a mic, I guess I just can't MC.
just
Johnny,
Come
but Johnny Depp uses an earpiece and has fed his lines. So was Marlon Brando,
Yeah, and you know what? In my opinion, again,
and Marlon Brando played the best Cal-El ever. No,
okay,
Jor-El. sorry.
Marlon Brando, not really, but Johnny Depp,
$1 million for
over-
that. $1 million for that.
over fucking rated,
mo-
my friend.
Yeah.
Give me Johnny Depp Blow. Give me Johnny Depp Sleepy
Who do you
Hollow.
want Johnny Depp- you
Give
want
me
Johnny Depp to
those
blow
Johnny
you?
Depp. Oh, I would. That would be more interesting than his career right now.
Blow, Johnny, blow.
Well, Johnny's just digging himself
Okay.
a real hole right now. Anyway,
So yeah, I will. Like, so we've got one person who you're not the target audience. So it
No,
doesn't fucking
which
matter.
that's a nice little pun there. No, I'm not the target audience.
Yeah.
I'm not triggered
you're
by
gonna
this
live
conversation.
forever. She's gonna live forever.
You're shooting from the hip here. You are staunch. Like, this is stupid.
Yeah, like I don't. It's not a question.
Yeah.
If Brandon Lee was still around right now, I think we'd all be happy.
The argument, though, is that you've got a 30-year record of professionals, of safety, of it being done properly.
Absolutely.
Of Dave Brown in Winnipeg.
Absolutely.
Who went on CNN.
Yeah,
the
I
armorer who's here and who did Nobody.
For sure.
Who worked with the same guy who did John Wick. Like you've got people who are incredibly safe.
But
and
even
incredibly
without
talented.
real weapons, and you know what? I honestly love what you said. I think the compromise is the best way to go.
Yeah.
You use the real weapons, but you ensure that in no
They're
way
incapable.
That's right. And again, I don't care what any of the pushback or responses. Live rounds are nowhere needed on a set. Ever.
This is where we get into the weeds.
Because if you're gonna do close-ups of actual shit getting shot and whatnot, you do that in a studio range. That's what it's there for.
Oh,
you don't need the actors doing it.
You have my utter.
So live
faith.
rounds nowhere ever near.
And that's the error.
Ever.
That's the error.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
The error isn't the gun. The error isn't Alec Baldwin. The error is you control the set. As an armorer, you have actually, like, in most situations, if you're working with a good crew, this is hearsay. I've never worked on a set before.
I thought you were going to say I've never worked with a good crew before.
No. Fuck.
No, you're
fucking assholes.
You are right though.
But so, like, a smart director will be like, I take my cues from you. I don't know guns.
I would
and
also
to be like an arrogant prick and be like, I'm telling you what you're gonna do. Fuck. When was the last time you were near a weapon?
Also, as a director too, though, I would also feel like you have a right to be like, I don't want live rounds anywhere near my set.
Yeah, and that's
anywhere near my goddamn set.
But would you
and I don't care who your daddy
ever
is,
assume
you're
that
gone.
there were live rounds on your set? Because that to me seems like it would be so out of left field.
You're right.
That I would never even think to ask that. I'd be like, okay, who
You're
brought
right.
bullets to work today?
You're right, but when I would see these assholes next to my set shooting at targets, I'd be like, what the fuck is going on?
See, and those are the things that
Alec. Like, I don't want to blame him.
Beetlejuice.
I don't want to blame him, but again, man, you can't put your name as a producer and then just be like, oh, that's not my bad. I had nothing to do with this. I'm not saying he intentionally shot or anything like that, but he is aware of the issues the crew
producers don't. Okay, so the what we have on a recording that I am paraphrasing because I don't have it memorized, so you can actually go listen to it and totally correct me. But the AD, the armorer, and the actor are the only three.
Those are the only three.
That is standard protocol in Canada.
Gotcha.
So the armorer goes, and the armorer will have an assistant.
Yeah.
And they will go to the safe.
Yeah.
And they will pull it.
Yeah.
The two of them will inspect it. They'll bring it to set. They will then show everybody involved in the scene. So the camera, the grip, everybody, they will.
It's
all
like a safety check.
They can all go, hey, can I see the inside of that
Right,
gun? So they go, here's the inside of the gun, and it's empty.
Because he just went cold gun. And
we
then
don't
gave
know.
it to Alex.
We don't know.
Right?
We can't.
We don't. But
we
at
know
least
cold gun
from
was
what,
yelled. Yes,
from what the reports are indicating.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
gotcha.
In between, now here's what shouldn't be happening. Guns shouldn't be left out.
Yeah.
So the error in judgment is the guns are never on set.
Right. They're
unless
locked
the
up.
scene is waiting for it.
That's right.
Otherwise, they're locked up, and then the assistant and the armorer are the only two. So you have guns left out. You have guns left out over an X amount of time. So who's there can fuck with them. Who knows if someone was like, hey, I want to show you this gun. I was firing it, right? All these things could have fucking happened.
Yeah.
The right way to do that, though, is the gun comes to the scene. Then the blanks or the dummy rounds, if needed, are inserted in front of everybody.
Yeah.
And they'll have two of them, empty and dummied, and then whatever they need to go. So in a 6-shooter, you might not actually have all 6. You'll have 2 dummies to get you through.
Right.
And then the blanks will start firing because once they start rolling, it's all about timing. So depending on what goes in, and then before the scene, and everybody in that shot has access to seeing how that gun is moved, placed. Final call is with the actor and the AD. Someone will yell cold gun and confirm it before the scene goes.
Right.
And you're done. With these guns, they're antiques.
Yeah.
They're from gun collectors.
Yeah, literally.
They're period piece guns.
Yeah.
So to sit there and try to rifle through, I get, and this is where the argument is a prop for prop's sake, or does it add to the scene?
But then they shouldn't have been shooting off in the off in the desert with them if we're
Thank
trying
you.
to.
In an
Yeah.
isolated,
Thank you.
in a vacuum, there's where the problem
Thank you.
is.
Yeah.
Shooting live ammunition on a set. That's where this all
It's
went to
insane.
shit. So as an armorer, in our opinion, obviously that's where the problem is.
Yeah.
You let somebody use the gun for more than what the gun was intended for,
Yeah.
and now we have this problem because we've introduced a variable that we can't control.
And if I'm the person who owns that like antique gun, I'm gonna be pretty pissed off that people were like fucking around with it.
Well,
Oh,
and
yeah,
now,
that's
now the
that's fucking
gun's-
evidence.
And
Yeah.
now the gun is confiscated.
Yeah, it's gone
for
now.
evidence. Yeah.
Poor gun. Out of every
So-
no.
Poor gun.
I,
Poor
you know
gun
who I'd
owner.
really love to hear, and I'm being serious. Like I know this will sound funny, but just because of his years of experience, is Arnold.
Schwarzenegger?
Yeah, man, this guy has years.
Yeah,
and how many movies of using guns and playing fake?
I'd like to hear from Keanu Reeves.
Even
Nice.
Keanu, right?
Yeah,
Like,
well, that team.
just hearing from their perspective, because like again, like Arnold has played, like I would say,
Yeah, man.
other
he's,
than
he's
Junior,
rolled down the hill backwards while
other-
shooting guns.
Yeah, like other than Junior, how many movies has he had where his character shoots a gun? Right?
You know, I would just
All
like
of them.
to state for the record that I think if anybody was to ever do this show, I think we could get Keanu Reeves.
Oh my
you know,
God,
he
I would
comes
love
to Winnipeg
Keanu.
a lot. Also, he's a nice guy.
He's the best. But Keanu too. Like Keanu shows his videos of him actually doing his weapons training, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's using those rounds. So this guy knows more than ever in that team how important it is to I hope never have live rounds anywhere near that set.
Everybody else knows. The only
Right?
thing is this 24-year-old inexperienced armorer who was hired on the
But
cheap.
she's 24, like lady, you know you're not supposed to have live rounds, man. Like whether you're 34, 54, 84, you fucking know
that's-
you don't do that. Your dad would have never have done that, and if he
Ooh,
did,
you're using
it was
daddy,
probably the
you
60s,
evil
70s.
bastard.
But you know what I mean?
Your dad
'Cause
would
that's
make
why,
you do
but
that.
that's why they got her. I'm sorry,
no,
but that's
I
why
agree.
they got her.
I
They were
agree.
like, "Oh, you're whose kid? Oh, yeah,
It's
you gotta
such
be
a-
good."
It's such
Right?
a sad situation.
It's like thinking Michael Jordan's son can automatically play amazing. It's kind of insane.
Wait, basketball or baseball?
Oh, baseball.
golf.
Golf.
I can't
Yeah.
believe that's. I can't. Whatever.
All right, well, that settles that. I'm glad, and I'm sure everybody else, all the other guys would agree too. I mean, it's about safety and being practical. I don't like cutting off your nose to spite your face. I don't like The Rock going, I will never use real guns again. Yes, you will, and here's why you shouldn't
Yeah,
say
I know
that.
he will.
Because you will, and some asshole's going to call you out for it.
Yeah.
Because they're assholes, and like you're hanging yourself by putting that out in the ether, man. So all these people who are like, don't use guns anymore, real guns are bad. Take a minute and just get ultra safe about it again. Just readjust your perspective. Obviously, perspective has been lost. We don't need to have old antique guns firing off blanks on
No.
period pieces. We can make a prop gun. We've seen it. We know
also,
it exists.
did you see they
Fuck,
were-
like Hellboy's gun is practically
Yeah.
a Smith & Wesson just with
Yeah.
some modern advances.
And-
like, make that older.
They released 3 big scenes, and one of them is from that new Netflix. Wow.
Red Notice?
No, it's with Idris Elba. It's a cowboy movie.
Oh, The Harder They Fall? or
Yeah.
The
So
Hard
there's a
Fall
really
Down?
famous scene in that movie, or a really cool shot where they shoot towards the camera, whole thing CGI, and they show it. Would have never known unless I saw it. Now that I've seen it,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. But if I had never seen them show the breakdown of
But
it,
what costs
would have
a lot of money,
never
Charles?
ever known. You know what though, man?
What's
I don't
one of
know.
the most expensive
I don't know because
portions
look
of a
at
film production?
but look at what's it called? Look at what Alfred Molina said, and it wasn't money; it's practicality. What about the arms?
Oh, yeah, those
It
arms
was
are real.
more expensive for them to CGI the arms than do the puppeteering. It was actually more expensive, but the reasoning, practicality, they didn't have to hire people to do the arms.
Like, you see the
So
end,
it was
we all
just-
see the end credits of a fucking Avengers film and how many people
Oh
are
yeah,
on
it's
the
Yeah.
CGI
insane.
team.
But when you look at it too, like I mean, like don't get me wrong. When you look at Spider-Man 2 and you look at Doc Ock's arms, cool, they're great.
Oh, yeah.
But then when you see what they're doing with it in No Way
Willem
Home,
Dafoe walks in and
yeah,
does it?
yeah. But when you see what they're doing in No Way Home, it makes sense why it's not puppeteering. But I guarantee you, like Alfred Molina said, because he brought up the money thing too, and it's more expensive for them to CGI it because they have to do it purposely. All the scenes have to be shot on a green stage, whereas
Yeah,
when it's
no,
puppeteering, it can be a built stage. You know what I mean? So I don't even think it's the money factor. I honestly think it's practical. It's like, we only have Alfred Molina for 2 weeks. Fuck it. We can't get puppeteering guys in here. We'll CGI it. I think that's what it is that, I mean, look, they're making movies during quarantine, and a lot of it's because they can do post. all during quarantine.
Oh yeah, you can
right?
sit there for
Yeah, like
once you get
Aquaman.
done on set, you can just
Well,
give me all the time in a fucking
movie
editing
like
room.
Aquaman is a fucking editor's dream come true during the pandemic. It's like, I'm gonna be at home, and you're gonna pay me to just edit. Okay, cool.
All right,
Awesome.
we are market because I think we've settled
Bam.
that. Yeah, practicality, safety, and again, fucking
Not knowing the difference.
not knowing the difference.
Yeah.
But like
Shout out to my
Emily's
not, no,
not-
shout out to my
what
not
is-
knowing the difference crew.
What does this one do? What does this one do?
at me and tell me you don't know the difference between a prop
God.
gun and a real gun. I
great.
need a little bit of like solidarity here.
I can't honestly. If like Charles, like you said, if they're doing a job well, then you can't tell.
I held a prop gun. Like, I've held a prop gun and the weight and everything, and I've never held a real gun to my knowledge. But the prop gun freaked me out because it legit felt and looked like a real gun.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, if a real gun person can tell that it's a fake gun, the movie just sucks because you're not looking and paying attention to the right thing. Like, I'm sure in The Matrix, a lot of those guns were not real. I'm not looking at the guns, man.
Well, that was a bad example because they technically weren't real.
Oh. Thus proving they don't need to be,
Okay.
baby.
See what I
It's
mean?
all about the actor.
See what I mean?
I bring it back to you, Micheal, man. I thought that hammer was really stuck, man.
And,
I
we
really
circle
did.
back right around to Keanu Reeves once again,
Yeah.
which is
Go.
where
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to
There you
end
go.
all of my
Yeah,
conversations.
I
really.
want to put him on that screen, and I just want 15 minutes with him and be
Oh,
like,
dude.
How many times have you
Just-
ever had? Like, how many times have you used Bill again in any of your roles? Like, when has Bill shown up
I
that
think
we haven't
just being
seen?
able to be in the same room as Keanu would be like, whoa.
I'd have
This
such
is
a hard time not
why-
being like, be
this is
excellent
crazy.
to each other.
Guys-
And he'd be so cool. Like, he'd be the shy one, which is crazy. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like Keanu's the kind of guy where we'd all be in a room and he'd be the shy one.
I'd cap the interview with just be excellent, man.
Be
Thanks.
excellent
Yeah,
to each other.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to say. Go.
No, I just want to know what it's like to work with Carlin. Like, can you imagine
Yeah,
having Carlin on set at his
Totally.
prime?
Totally.
Okay, one more before we go. Should we stay or should we go? And I think this is the fun one because this is the one that plays into a brand where real life meets real life. Tom Hanks has not done this once, but a couple times. Motherfucker likes to crash weddings. And you're married. I'm not. Charles, you're not married, so we can kind of still play this. But, like, well, you can play too. But point is
Emily,
that-
you're cool.
yeah, you're cool. You've had a wedding, so you
I've had two.
okay, sweet.
Been busy.
All right. Second one was the better one, obviously.
Yeah, you know what? So far seems to have a little more staying power.
I love it.
I meant the day, not
Oh,
the
yeah.
marriage.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Both good things, though.
Yeah, both
Yeah,
good things.
absolutely.
So anyway, so he crashed this couple's wedding. So I thought, like, you had a day where you're like, you know how crazy it fucking is. So, like, on top of that for you, but for me, we would be not married. But Emily, like, who would you want to be walking down a beach and you're about to get hitched in? Like, Keanu, would that be a safe bet? Or like,
Yeah, you know, Keanu Reeves would be pretty cool. Honestly, Julianne Moore.
ooh,
Yeah.
really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
just
love it.
ER Julianne Moore?
um
Or like Julianne Moore from that other show she did that everybody, she was a judge or a lawyer.
I think you're thinking of
Micheal,
Julian. I think you're thinking of Julianne Margulies.
Margulies. I think Julianne Moore, like the redhead.
Boogie Nights.
Oh, I'm hungry. That's why I'm thinking of. Yeah, that's why I'm thinking of Margulies.
Yeah,
Wow.
redhead.
Fuck.
Because
Yes.
as soon as you said ER, it was like Julianne
Yeah, like,
Margulies.
yeah.
Okay.
no,
All right.
redhead.
Okay. So Boogie Nights or Big Lebowski?
Big Lebowski. Yeah,
Oh
Big
my
Lebowski
God.
specifically because I'd want I just the idea of her coming and be like, my art has been commended for being very vaginal.
I just see her rocking on the
Rocking
beach.
back and forth like
on the
this
beach.
is the best way to conceive. Yes. Does
Then
that
she
make you
lies back,
Does
yeah.
that word make you uncomfortable, Mr.
Oh.
Lebowski? Vagina.
She's so good in that movie.
Yeah, I just
Oh.
everything I've ever seen from her, she just seems so down to earth and so interesting.
She's
She
incredible.
is
She's a talented
very,
actor.
very talented, very, very funny. And I just have the impression that she would never do it on purpose. And so she would just be in the middle of something. She'd just be walking by and she'd see it. And then she would try to get away quietly. But someone would notice her and I'd be like, oh my God, it's Julianne Moore. And then she would, kind of not make a big deal, but
Yeah.
like say hi,
Like, oh.
wave, maybe like, I now pronounce you married.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
and
yeah.
it would just be like the most random, but like chill.
I love that.
She would come over and be
experience.
like, "You can kiss the bride now."
Yeah, exactly. And then I would kiss her. And then
I like she's got so much range because she did. What did she do that movie with? She was the cheating wife with Ryan Gosling and Steve Carell.
Oh, Crazy Stupid Love.
Crazy Stupid Love.
Yep. She also had a little bit on 30 Rock, right?
She
She
did.
was like
Really?
Alec Baldwin's character's like ex-girlfriend or
Yeah.
girlfriend from high school.
Yeah.
What's the one she did with Annette Bening? The Kids Are All Right.
Yeah,
with Mark
Kids-
Ruffalo.
Yeah.
That was a great one.
That was
Yeah.
a great one, and then she also played like a deaf teacher or a deaf.
Oh, yeah,
like a deaf speech therapist or something.
Yeah.
And she was she's done a lot of.
She's honestly, I
Yeah.
think, in all honesty, she's one of the best actors ever.
Yeah, I
in our
agree.
generation, for sure.
She's very underrated.
She's
And that's another one that I have to give up to. I said I grew up in a Steve Martin family. The Big Lebowski and actually all Coen Brothers films were a huge part of my childhood as well. So
Love
if
it.
if you look over there, I have a coffee table Big Lebowski.
oh,
book
nice.
that was given to me by Aaron Dole.
So
And,
I'm back to my formative years when I think about these actors and people. So
Julian
that's-
Margulies.
yeah, so I got to give that one up to my mom. I
Margulies.
think give the Julianne Moore. That's a shout out to my mom
I love it.
and the movie she exposed me to as a
Still
child.
Alice is what I was thinking of.
Still Alice.
Hannibal. She played Clarice.
She did.
She was
Yeah.
the follow-up.
That was not a
Clarice.
great movie, but
No,
she
it
did a
wasn't.
good
Oh,
job.
she was in Kingsman as
She
Poppy.
She was so good in Kingsman.
She
Oh,
even had
she was
the,
great. Oh, she was in Don John too.
She was
She was
amazing.
the MILF.
She's the one that
Yeah.
opens his mind up and is like, oh,
Yeah.
She's very, very
I
funny.
could come in a lady.
Jurassic World.
I love her in Jurassic Park, man.
Right.
I love her.
Evolution. She plays the
Okay.
It's a great
the
movie.
dippy
We
side.
Such an
very
underrated
recently
movie.
rewatched Evolution.
It's so
And so
underrated.
David Duchovny, also one of my favorites.
He's great.
And that movie, I think we watched it and then we watched it again like 2 days later because it was so funny
It's so good.
and so well done.
It's so
Yeah.
underrated, man.
We're forgetting a huge role, guys.
Huger than Evolution?
Well,
I mean, Boogie Nights.
no, it's another Paul Thomas Anderson movie that we're not giving her credit for. The crazy druggy young wife in Magnolia.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
Magnolia.
man.
You don't know me. You can't judge me. How dare you look at me?
Everyone
I
in
just
that
want my
movie.
pills.
Everyone in that movie is amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic.
I think one of my favorites, and I know it's insane, but I just love how many times Tom Cruise in that one scene says, "If one of those fucking dogs comes near me, I'll kill it." Just keep those fucking dogs away
the
from
cock.
me.
Tame the cunt.
Oh,
Oh my God.
He's so good.
So I read a book that was optioned for a movie, and it was, I can't remember the name of it, but it was about pickup artists.
really, eh?
And it's the story of how a guy, Neil something, he wrote the Motley Crue biography.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He wrote this book all about how he learned to be a pickup artist.
That's right. Yeah.
And it reads like a story about him moving to LA and then meeting.
Because he made a lot of money off of it.
He made a fuck ton of money. Off
Yeah.
it. He started. He's like one of the original life coaches.
Yeah.
He just
Are you a doer or a doter?
Yeah.
That's what I always think
that
of.
kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Totally
yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, anyways, he meets in the book. What's the name of the Motley Crue biography?
Oh, they made the movie on it.
Yeah, the guy who wrote the book, The Dirt.
The Dirt. That's what it's called.
Um,
Have you ever seen Pain and Gain, Emily?
No, I haven't.
Oh my God, it's so good. But
Pain and Gain is fucking brilliant.
It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
It's
The
such an
Rock
underrated
is so
movie.
good.
But the reason why I think of that is Ken Jeong plays.
Oh,
that
that's
he plays the motivator,
Oh.
and that's what he does. He
You
goes,
a
"Are you a
doer?
doer or a
Doter?"
doter?" And he goes to Mark Wahlberg, and he's like, "Are you a doer or a doter?" And Mark Wahlberg, there's an amazing scene where the camera's just panning for Mark Wahlberg, and he's like, "I'm a doer, I'm a doer," and he like shakes someone in the audience. He's like, "I'm a doer," and he literally runs out through the doors, and he's like, "I'm a doer." It's so funny.
Okay.
That's what it makes me think of. Like in the '80s, that was a huge fucking thing.
So he's wrote a lot of books. He's written a lot of biographies. He wrote Marilyn Manson's biography,
Oh.
Jenna Jameson's.
Did you write Marilyn Manson's most like up to now?
No, this is
'Cause,
from 1990.
Whoa, yeah.
Yeah, this is from 98.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, so The Game is the name of the book.
The game.
And The Game was optioned almost for a movie.
Well, David Fincher did one called The Game.
Yes,
I know it
not
has nothing to do with
not
that.
the one with
but-
Michael Douglas.
Yeah.
But in the book, it reads about how he went to LA to learn how to be a pickup artist, but also you learn how to be a pickup artist if you read this book because it tells you all of the language and
Right.
all of the places on the internet you would want to go. And I was just curious. So I researched
For
it, obviously.
science.
For science, right? I
Oh,
was
I
like,
love
does this shit
it.
work? And I actually read the book.
Is it a good read?
It's a very interesting read.
Yeah,
There's a
it's
lot.
What's
It's
the
entertaining.
perspective? Like, what is the perspective on pickup artists? Like, is it understanding that it's
I think women are a game, and you
that
just
it's
gotta
that
know
it's
how
a
to play it.
dangerous kind of.
That women need to be unlocked and
Yeah.
no, okay. Wait a second.
so is
this
the
is
author-
the book. These are not my
No,
thoughts.
Michael.
Is the
Just
author
hang
is the
on.
author perspective a positive one on?
No.
No.
Okay,
no.
okay,
No.
that's
very
No,
derogatory.
it's
Good.
so misogynistic.
Yeah, it's so yeah.
Oh no,
Oh,
so
God,
sorry.
it's-
So
it's
no,
a-
the author perspective positive on pickup artists.
No. Yes and no. What it is it's about his rise and fall.
Okay.
Oh, it is. It's about his rise and his fall. That's good.
So the game is the original. Then the next one is the rules of the game.
Yeah.
And then the truth about relationships.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
he
yeah.
goes from being a misogynistic, womanizing pickup artist
To like,
to a life coach / like,
Yeah.
I'm elevated.
I
and
found
I've-
my
yeah.
soul.
Oh my gosh.
The point is that
Which is just a different kind of pickup artist.
I have
Totally.
the book somewhere. You guys should read. It's like it's leather bound too.
Oh my
Like
god.
it reads like it looks like the Bible.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like the King James.
Because you
Bible.
live your life
Yeah.
by this book.
Yeah, you
kind
do.
of
the
thing.
bro
Right.
code.
It-
Barney
and,
Stinson.
like some of
I
the
have that.
some of the stuff. Okay, the way they presented it was like some of it came from women are interesting creatures, and there's like a set of cheat codes that can help you be more charming, be more interesting, learn how to
funny.
talk to women, learn how to engage with women. So it comes from a positive idea that women are mysterious and not all men understand how to speak to you. So it comes from that perspective. Then obviously as soon as you like with great power comes great irresponsibility, right? So like all of these guys learn these things from these pickup artists. The pickup artist that is TJ Mackey in Magnolia is
Yeah.
based on a real person who
Yeah.
exists in this book.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Neil
I
Strauss,
knew that.
Neil
yeah.
Strauss learns from him.
Wow.
He's part of the community. So when Magnolia was made,
Yeah.
it took from an idea that around 05 when this book came out, from like 05 to 2010, this pickup artist idea was
Yeah.
floating around out there, and Paul Thomas Anderson's character TJ Mackey is based on this real life guy.
Yeah.
And these real life guys,
And that's how he is.
and
like,
they're
yeah.
these seminars that guys
Yeah.
pay to go to be like to learn this shit. And
Well,
yeah,
I hate to
like,
say it, but it
it's-
sounds like honestly, like it sounds like the majority of people that these guys attract are what they refer to as incels or whatever. Like
yeah,
yeah.
this
The
gives
guys
me
that are
this gives me
angry that
incel
they're
vibes.
virgins.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, oh yeah.
angry
Yeah.
virgins.
But you know
right?
what?
Like
Julian Moore's the shit.
oh yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
How did we get here, Julian Moore?
That's right. Bottom line is Julianne Moore's
Thanks
the
for
shit.
coming to my imaginary wedding.
Yeah, there you go. All right,
I'll invite her to the third one.
who do you want to crash your wedding?
I mean, my two, like, if I were to ever shit my pants and fangirl, let's say.
No, not fangirl, but just be like she didn't fucking lose her shit.
No.
She was just like, oh, this is great. Like someone.
I think Sam Rockwell is someone
that's
that I would be like.
so deep cut.
Yeah.
That's so okay.
And I feel like he's so
alright.
cool that he would be so cool at the wedding.
That's the key. Is someone
Like,
who's
he'd
going to
be
be
so
cool.
cool.
yeah, okay, I get that.
Like, he'd put on music and dance, and then everyone would want to dance, right? Like,
I get that. Sam Rockwell. Confessions of a Dangerous Mind.
yeah,
Dude,
totally.
Big fan of that one.
Totally.
Do you believe
I'm
that
waiting
that's
for him-
do you believe that's a true story?
You know what? I do.
Like I know
do.
it's based on.
I know. I do.
Chuck
I do.
Barris's biography.
I do.
But do you know that story of Confessions of a Dangerous Mind?
Not particularly well.
Okay,
no.
so the guy who came up with the Gong Show
That's right.
and the dating show,
Oh, okay. Yep.
Chuck Barris,
Yep.
super famous game show producer,
Yep.
also was a CIA hitman.
Yeah.
No.
And
Yeah.
on the dating show, when the couple would win a trip somewhere,
He would do
it would
that.
always be a place where they needed to do a hit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they'd go to like
and it was a
Latvia
front. Yeah.
Like Latvia.
Yeah.
and then have like a shitty date in Latvia
Yeah.
and then you go kill somebody and
Yeah.
then show up and be like, let's do it all again next week.
That's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
amazing.
It's really good.
George
and he's-
Clooney directed it.
And he's super young.
He's super young.
Super
George
young.
Clooney, Julia Roberts, Sam Rockwell.
Yeah.
Super funny movie.
Dude, I'm even waiting for him, honestly. I'm waiting for Justin Hammer to come back, or I would be okay with them kind of doing a Chris Evans, like, yeah,
How
he was
did
the Human
Justin
Torch.
Hammer make it past the test screening with families where they're like, I can't help but think of his dick? Like, it was the worst last name to
He
give
was-
a character.
He's so good, though. But yeah, I love Sam Rockwell.
He's
One of my
got-
all-time favorite roles of
Okay.
his,
Okay.
favorite movie, favorite role, is in The Sitter with Jonah Hill. I know. It's a fantastic movie, super underrated. He plays a gay hitman. He is incredible. Like, he's so good in it. It's
That's your pick.
I love Sam Rockwell. He's
That's
one of my
such a
all-time
deep cut
favorites.
pick. Like, no, I mean, like, from his work, but like, okay.
I love him in fucking Galaxy Quest.
Yeah,
One of my all-time-
That's just such a good movie.
One of my
also.
all-time favorite scenes is he's the one that just screams. Remember when they all show up? He just straight up screams, and it's such a good scene.
Yes, that's
like
an amazing movie.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
So good in that.
Safod Beeblebrox.
I'm gonna
Oh
be
my
that
God.
guy again because Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is one of my favorite books.
Oh,
I
yeah,
have The
great
Diner
book.
at the End of the Universe out there. I found it at Valley Village. I'm like, I'm never
Yeah.
gonna read it, but
That's
I want
awesome.
it.
I have the
That's
whole
awesome.
the whole set. And then as long as you're reading Douglas Adams, you should also read Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency,
Oh,
which there-
Netflix is that
so-
show's so good.
Okay, there is no correlation between the show and the book.
Oh, really?
And not
eh?
in a bad way.
Oh.
It's like if you love the show and you love the like nonsense craziness, then
Yeah.
you'll love the book, and it's a completely different
'Cause
storyline with completely different
I
characters.
Okay, so
love
but
the
it is
show.
based on Dirk's
It is not
Gently.
Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency.
Yeah,
it may be.
man.
I think there's additional
It's
Douglas
so-
Adams
Do
books.
you think they wrote new stories in the vein of the character from the books?
It certainly has the same vibe.
You're like the 20th person to tell me about that show.
It's an
It's
exceptional
so
show,
good, man.
but
It got cut way too soon.
again, not to. I'm just going to continue to be that asshole, which is like, just read the books. They're so good.
No, but you
Matchstick
should.
Men.
You
We're
should.
forgetting Matchstick Men.
Matchstick Men.
Matchstick Men. So not a huge fan of that movie, but he is
Did you-
fucking unreal.
Did
in
you
it.
see the only other movie based on a Chuck Palahniuk novel to get made?
Oh, Choke was so good.
Choke.
He's
Did you
so
see
good.
Choke?
No, I didn't.
Great book.
But I read.
Great book.
What's the Chuck Palahniuk book that is the car crashes?
Survivor.
Oh
No. Car crashes?
It's a one word.
Isn't it
It's not
just
called
Crash?
crash. It's called like, but something like that. The
No,
one where
yeah.
the one where people are crashing to like. It turns out they're trying to go back in time.
Yeah.
That was a great book. Again with the books.
What's it called?
I used
Oh.
to read.
Jojo Rabbit, man.
Jojo Rabbit.
Heil Hitler.
Like,
Heil Hitler.
I'm
Heil
sorry,
Hitler.
but
Heil Hitler. Heil Hitler. Heil Hitler.
he's not
Oh.
in that movie
Heil
a
Hitler.
lot, but he is so good in it. He's so good in it.
How about his Oscar win for 3 Billboards?
Yeah,
like-
who's the best part of that movie?
But such like that movie is funny everywhere else except him.
Yeah.
Like it really that and Woody Harrelson
Well,
shooting himself in a barn.
You want to know something really funny? Is his longtime girlfriend is Leslie Bibb.
Yeah.
Leslie Bibb in Iron Man 1 hooks up with Tony,
Oh, right at the beginning.
and then in Iron Man 2, Justin Hammer is dating her, and Robert Downey Jr. even makes a comment about, "Oh, I see you're having my seconds from last year," or something
Yeah,
like that.
yes.
And they were already together at that point, so I think that must have been really well. That's why they wrote that in there. But how funny is that? And they're a really good couple together. Like they're hilarious.
Oh,
They're both
yeah, they
so
are
funny
hilarious.
together and everything. Yeah.
How? Okay, wait. Did you see Moon?
Oh, that
Did you
movie
see Moon? I
didn't
was
see that one, no.
incredible.
Moon is a
Incredible.
display of one character, one actor. Well, 2 characters actually. Moon is about a guy trapped on a moon base mining the moon for minerals.
Oh.
It's what's
Yeah,
giving,
so they-
it's what's fixing Earth for some
Yeah,
reason.
they found they found that the moon has a certain mineral that actually we need. kind
and
of thing.
he's like manning the station, and he wants to go home, but then he finds out that they haven't been sending his messages home. Then he finds out that he doesn't really know how long he's been there, and it is.
And then it gets fucking crazier and
Yeah.
crazier.
It
and it's
just-
one of those movies that ends and you're like,
Uh-huh.
like, yeah.
Yeah, that
it's
happened.
So good, man. He should have won an Oscar for that.
Kevin
That was
Spacey's in it
unreal.
too, but
He just
Green
plays
Mile.
but he
Green
plays
Mile.
But he plays an AI, so it's easy to.
That's true.
Kevin
it's easy to
Spacey
deal with
plays
him.
an AI.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just hear his voice. Green Mile, he was so good in, man. Even Charlie's Angels, he is the villain.
Yes, he is
And
an
Charlie
excellent villain
Angels
in Charlie's
won,
Angels.
and he is
Just
so
the way he
good.
dances.
Yeah.
Like,
so that's
he's got that
actually
shuffle.
that's actually his thing. So like a Matthew McConaughey thing, Matthew McConaughey actually does that.
Yeah.
Mhm. Sam Rockwell, to get into character, dances, and he specifically dances to James Brown. So if you notice in Iron Man 2, when Justin Hammer's coming out to do his showcase, he's dancing, he's getting into character because they're filming. That's how they were setting up the frame, and they decided to film because he gets so pumped. Charlie's Angels, that's him just getting into character. They filmed it because he's like so. He's just so smooth, and
So
he did a movie with Anna Kendrick a couple years ago called
Yeah,
Mr.
Mr. Right, yeah.
and it's so good. And in it, he dances, but while he's dancing, it's like a John Wick. He has his gun and he dances, and he's like, and he shoots. and the bullet just goes through a window, and you're like, what the fuck? And then you see where that bullet goes, kills the guy he's looking for, and then he's like, duh, and he has no idea.
I love whoever works
it's
with him is
amazing.
like, dance.
It's amazing. And
Just do
it's
your
probably
dance.
him.
It's so cool, and it looks so neat in what he's doing too. Like I remember when he started doing the dancing, the first time I ever saw Charlie's Angels, and that's when
so
you knew, or
good.
you're like, oh no, something bad's about to happen.
Totally, because that's when they reveal he's
Oh, so that's
actually
the
the bad
reveal,
guy.
yeah. And I was
so
just
he's
like-
he takes off the nerd glasses.
Yeah.
He's got this like cool shirt on.
Yep.
And he does this amazing
like the collar
dance.
pop dance.
That's right.
And I was just
that's
like,
right.
oh,
But that's him. That's his character thing.
That's amazing.
Because Justin Hammer, it was the same thing. It's so random. And in Iron Man 2, they're like, Justin Hammer Expo. And he comes out and he's dancing, man,
Yep.
up a storm.
That's good. I like that choice.
I
That's
love
a fun
it.
one.
I love it.
Yeah,
He's like, I've always loved Sam
he
Rockwell.
definitely light up the dance floor.
And you know why, too? His first memorable movie, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
There
He's
you
the
go.
head. He's one of the teenage kids. He's the one that's recruiting for the Fit
That's
Lab.
right.
Yeah, he's the one recruiting.
Holy
so good.
shit.
It's so good.
Who's crashing your wedding then, Michael?
Who's crashing your wedding, Michael?
Brad Pitt.
You
Ooh,
didn't even have to think about
No,
it. Eh?
I didn't.
I love it.
I didn't.
Brad Pitt won. Brad Pitt now.
So is
Brad Pitt.
Not Brad Pitt 1.0.
No.
I want Brad Pitt now, just
Ooh.
because he is Brad Pitt 1.0, just with like weathered.
Yep.
But like
He's seen some things,
he
man.
is like when I started listening to Dax Shepard when they first started the show, it was very Brad Pitt heavy in the beginning because he thinks he's the most beautiful man on the planet, and I strongly agree in that sentiment.
I feel a lot of men feel that way.
He just is like, and it's not
Yeah.
because I want to look like him, but I'm just like, yeah, man, I get if I was like Google beauty, you're the first image that pops up. It makes sense, but like, I just want to know how somebody who's so, like, what's up, bro, has so much range. Like, I want to know the guy because he played Achilles as much as he did 12 Monkeys, as much as he did Tyler Durden, as much as he did Legends of the Fall, as much as he's done Joe Black. Like, the list goes on, and it's just this, like, I'm over here, now I'm going to go over here. And you can't get a real read on him, but then he goes and does
Ocean's 11.
Ocean's 11, and you're like, that's fucking Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Like, that's Brad Pitt being Brad Pitt.
Just
Like, I'll show up today and just be me. Okay, cool. I'll eat in every scene.
Yeah.
Because it's funny, and Steven Soderbergh gets it.
I love his guest appearance on Friends. It's
Oh my
fucking
gosh.
hilarious.
Oh,
I Hate Rachel Club?
I hate her.
Yeah.
I hate her. And when he smashes the grapes, I hate her.
Or
Rose,
his
I hate
his
her.
fucking cameo in Deadpool 2.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Like
I
that.
have to say though, when I think of Brad Pitt coming up to your wedding, I think naked Tyler Durden answering the door.
with rubber gloves on. Yeah, well, I used him as my life coach. I mean, there's a reason I
Right?
have I those abs.
Have a thing for Brad Pitt.
I do have a thing for Brad Pitt.
I think that scene alone in Fight Club was right there. Everyone was like, Brad Pitt's hot.
yeah. Yeah.
Holy shit. Like, that was the first time that I was like, I get it. Like, he's super.
I get it.
Even Edward Norton, he's like staring at him. Like, he's staring at everything because he's like, yeah. Like, you live in a world where you can do that and no one's going to say, excuse me, sir. Everyone's going to be like, good for you.
Way to go, bro.
More, please.
Plus, like, and then when he finally got to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I'm just like, yeah,
Good
I
for
think
you.
Quentin
He looks
Tarantino just
so
wanted a
good.
buddy.
He looks
for
so
you.
good in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Well,
Just
you know,
the age looks so good on him.
Totally.
And yeah, the experience, and you can just see it in the way he plays that character. I loved him in that movie.
Rehab definitely looks good on him.
Oh,
Cliff
It
Booth.
definitely does.
Did he do rehab?
Well, yeah, because after he got accused of,
That's right. He was an alcoholic for a minute.
yeah.
You're an alcoholic if you're in
Well,
Hollywood.
that's why
It's the only way to
Angelina's
get
still
through.
fighting with him. But I mean, man, he's definitely been like 5 years sober. Give the guy a break.
Yeah.
You know what?
And his
I
hair.
will say,
Like, I'm
Hair.
going
Did you
bald.
guys
His
see-
hair, fuck.
did you guys see his speech that he did? I can't remember what
Oh, it
award
was
show
SAG
was.
Awards.
SAG Awards, where he's like, I'm old.
I hate night shifts.
I no longer remember
The
first
first
rule
rule
of
of
Fight
Fight
Club.
Club.
Oh, that was so good. Literally said, he's just being cool. He's like chewing gum. He's like, I'm old, man. I can't do night shoots.
That's the one I want showing
Right?
up at my wedding
yeah,
to be like,
he's great.
I'm going to be with you for the rest of my life. I need a minute with Hottie over here. I
It's
just
good.
need, I just,
just a quick
Yeah.
second.
It's
Just-
exactly what you guys said, is that he is at a point in his life still is, But he's had one of the greatest careers. If he stopped acting now, it's still one of the greatest.
He's
actors
been in so his IMDb credits go on forever.
Well,
He's been in so many things.
You guys can see the old guard, new guard replacements, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you can see the new Audrey Hepburn as Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
You
for
can
sure.
see the new Robert Redford as Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
The new Paul Newman as Ryan Gosling. Like this has been going on since the 20s. Like the studios are like, we can't own you anymore, but
Right.
we just need to
Legacy pass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need a young Robert Redford.
Right,
I need a young
right.
Paul Newman. Right.
Right.
So there's no changing
Yeah.
of what works on screen,
Yeah.
but Brad Pitt just is Robert Redford. He needs to make a film. He needs to direct something. I'd love to see him behind the camera.
You know, honestly, I really am excited to know who Brad Pitt's going to play in Kill Bill 3. Or Kill Bride, I should say.
Kill Brad.
I assume it's going to be called Kill Bride or something. But
I think it'll be Kill Beatrix.
Oh, Kill Beatrix, yeah.
I think that'll be.
Well, did you hear? Like, he was riffing. He says, like, he has Zendaya in mind to play.
Zendaya?
Zendaya?
Yeah.
Zendaya?
How many different ways are we going to pronounce
I
it?
always say it
MJ
wrong.
from
MJ.
Yeah.
He has her in mind to play what's her face,
Oh.
Vivica A. Fox's daughter,
Yeah.
and Maya Hawke would be Bellatrix's daughter,
Yep.
and they'd be around the same age, right?
Wow.
Yeah, man. Please do it.
You know they'll
Please
kill
do it.
they'll kill Beatrix in the first.
Oh yeah,
Like
and
the
it's
first
gonna be
scene.
Maya Hawke. Oh yeah,
It'll be
I
Maya
think-
Hawke versus.
I think
Zendaya
what they
the
did to
rest of the movie.
Vivica A. Fox in the first one is going to do right to Uma Thurman right away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Totally.
she's not spry anymore, and I don't mean that in like a bad way. She hasn't acted.
Or
is
fuck,
what
you know,
I'm
it's
trying to get
Tarantino.
at.
For all you know, Maya Hawke could be the one that dies in the first 10 minutes.
That's true.
Right?
That would be
Like-
the big bait and switch.
All I'm saying is that if
All we know for
Tarantino-
sure, there will be feet.
there's going to be, I'm sure Tarantino's last real movie will be a short film just called Feet.
Feet, please.
It should be his foot.
My left foot.
My level.
Oh my God. Oh my God. He's doing a remake. Yeah. Jesus.
I think that's the perfect way to bookend this episode. Right there.
Oh my God.
I've got other shit, but this is long. Holy shit. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're still here, we haven't done a long one in a long while. My ass is asleep. If it's snoring, I'm sorry. That's my grandma's joke.
I like that one.
Yeah,
Me
so
too.
that's
Good.
one. Yeah, you can feel free to trademark that yours. and
Zynga.
Trade on that all day.
Good
long.
old Zynga.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to another Real Debaters production. This has been a blast. If you want to support the show, this is the second time I've said this. If you skipped it in the opening part where it's just me and you love it the most. If you want to support the show, there's two ways to do so. You can donate to our cause. There's a donation tab. Hit the link. It's in the show notes. Pocket change, man. That's all. That's all I'm
right.
talking about.
That's
It's not. Don't give me money. Don't give us money. It just pays for the odd $20, $30, whatever service that we don't get paid for. We all make the same amount of money, which is nothing.
If you do want to give us money, we will take it.
Yeah, the max is $5, but we've said that if you give us $1, $3, $5, you'll get something for it. So
That's
as soon
right.
as I see one of those things drop, we want to do it. It's fun. We haven't seen one for a while.
We have a box of puppies.
yeah,
A box of chocolates.
yeah. Like,
there's so many
and
things.
Sam was the other one who did it, another friend from other podcasts. So make us not feel like losers.
Also,
Yeah.
I mean, I just bought a really sweet sweater.
Yeah,
a
you did.
really
Right.
sweet Real Debaters sweater. And I'm really looking forward to wearing it. Sounds like I might have been the first one to actually buy it,
Yeah.
which I think
They're
is pretty
so
cool.
good, man.
Pretty cool. And I know that these guys have T-shirts, so maybe I can convince everyone to do like a pantsless photo shoot to really promote the
Ooh.
merchandise.
Yeah, I do that.
I love
Absolutely.
it.
I would.
You can take
yeah.
our photos.
Yeah.
I can take your photos.
Yeah.
So there you go. Jump on,
Cool.
buy some merchandise, and let us know if you want to see some pantsless photos of our merchandise.
That's the best idea ever.
Hey, you know what?
I'm totally
Emily
down.
has been doing an incredible job for Nerdgasm, so
Yeah.
she's ready for Real Debaters.
This is. Do you know what this
Pantsless
is?
nerdgasm.
Somebody had Wobby Wob, who's Dax Shepard's guy, and he was their sound guy. He was somebody else's sound guy before, and then Dax stole him.
Really?
I'm gonna Dax Emily.
There you go. Done.
Anyways, what she's talking about is absolutely correct, and you can buy it by clicking our merch tab, which is called the Prop Shop, affectionately. If that's next to the donation tab. So either buy something, donate something, however you want to support us. Just subscribe.
Yeah.
That's it. It's easy. It's the free thing to do.
Awesome.
You just hit it in your favorite podcast player.
Yeah,
We're
man.
in there every week, every Wednesday, mostly Wednesdays, sometimes Thursdays, depending on if life gets in the way.
But we'll always be there for you.
We'll always have dumb shit to talk about.
That's right.
That's for sure. Is anything else? Charles's nerdgasm shit is always in the notes, so that's
right.
Yeah, it's always there.
That's right. YouTube.com/CFBomb. Check it out.
Yeah, watch it. It's funny. We're there right now. Our crossover episode is there right now.
Our first official crossover episode.
Yeah.
It was wild.
I think our first idea was like, I'll bring over my VR headset, and we'll just.
And we're still going to do that. It's just what a way to start it with Comic-Con first.
That was.
So.
I think that was a much better way to punctuate.
Such a cool experience.
Check that box.
It was unreal. Yeah, if you guys haven't, also you can check out our panel. We filmed it. So you can actually see us at
Claudia
Comic-Con.
filmed it. Did a great fucking job.
That's right. So
Absolutely
head over to
fantastic
youtube.com/CFBomb and you can see the real debaters live at Comic-Con.
Oh, I've been Michael Petrow.
I've been Charles Fernandes.
And new fucking debater.
Emily Clarke.
And we're gone. Watch all the movies.
Bye.
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 I'd say that was a pretty successful broadcast.